Hello? Hi? Did I do it? We live? Can you hear us?
I
Can you hear
can't
me?
believe it.
I can't believe it
Yeah,
either.
yeah, yeah. I can hear myself.
Hello?
We're good. We're
We
good.
did it. We're live. Welcome
We did it,
everyone.
Reddit.
We did it Reddit. We did it Twitch chat. Welcome
Shout
everyone
out to Reddit.
to the probably the biggest Q&A stream that we have. We got some pretty exciting news at the end of the stream. Sorry to bait and switch you, but yeah, it's going to be at the end so that you guys stick around. But yeah, welcome. My name is Goknak. I'm the project lead and lead developer of mmod. Back at it again to hopefully answer some great questions that you guys got. I'm joined by some of my wonderful team. So let's go ahead and go through the list on Discord and introduce yourselves. And we'll get going.
I'm just gonna assume I'm at the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Bray. I do engine game code stuff.
Cool.
I'm False. I do a bunch of modeling stuff. So I've made the weapons, the rocket and sticky launcher in Conc, and currently working on a big thing right now, Plar model.
Oh yeah.
Hey, I'm Tom. I'm doing mostly UI work at the moment. I also do some texture and story work. Right now, working on the Panorama stuff.
We got some fun panorama to show off
Oh,
too
yeah.
after all the questions. So make sure you stick around for that if you want to see it.
I guess I'm gonna continue that.
Oh, you're really quiet again.
Hi, hello. My name is Happy. I will do musics for the game. I'm also one of the Russian localization for the game, a local lawyer and local Russian on the team. Hi.
Hello. I'll turn you up a bit so that hopefully it's good for the rest of that. All right. Continuing on, last but not least.
I guess we're skipping Traz. He's not here.
Oh no, he is here.
Hi.
Okay, my bad. He was muted.
Hi. Yeah, because I was typing. I didn't want to
All good.
get through the mic. Yeah, hi, I'm Trazox, and I do graphic design, media work, UI design work. I do a little bit of a bunch of graphic design stuff for the game, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
And I'm last. I'm XP Man. I'm mainly a mapper. I do other stuff occasionally, but I've been pretty busy recently.
And that's that's everybody we got on the call right now. We might have people joining us later, we'll see, but awesome stuff. So we'll just go ahead and jump right into the first thing that probably everyone's noticed. We've got Twitch affiliate. Wow. So yeah, just a note about that. This isn't, I know it's not really this is like predetermined question here, but yeah, if you guys want to support us, you can. If you have Twitch Prime or whatever, all of the bits and subs and stuff go directly into the same account that the Open Collective money also, goes into. So just another way to support us, as well as share momentum, cool like emotes and stuff. We only have 3. They updated it. We actually have 3 more slots, so we'll be adding more stuff there. But yeah, just wanted to point that out. We do have Twitch affiliate now, so yeah. And maybe if we keep streaming, we'll get partners, so then we can change our freaking emote prefix to be actually like mmod or something instead of momentum 56.
I love Momentum 56.
I don't know why Twitch did that, but whatever. Yeah, so just letting you guys know. So, all right, cool. We'll move on to the actual first question. That wasn't the big news. I promise. The big news is actually it's like the last thing basically we'll go over. But yeah, cool. All right, next question here. Oh, who wants to read the questions? I guess we never decided. Yeah, let's go with XP Man.
Yeah, so used to Zofa being here that just feels wrong.
Yeah, Zofa's AFK right now. Yeah, but
Gotta.
you'll pick up the torch. Yeah.
All right. So first question comes from Shiny Shuck asking, "Is there any plans to try and get the game into a GDQ type event in the distant future?"
I thought it was like not the reason, but I guess one of the reasons to have like a campaign, because we couldn't really get like source movement in, because it's all just like these weird niche game modes for like on like different games. And I think the GDQ requirement is like it has to be its own game with the campaign, and then you speedrun the campaign. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've got to
if
make
it
the
would be at a
campaign first.
GDQ, yeah, it's still a while away, but it would be speedrunning the campaign, I suppose.
Most likely. But the campaign will definitely be sort of, very geared towards speedrunning. It would be really weird if it wasn't. We've got to make it first and see if people, like it as a speedrun game. Those things are a bit hard to anticipate, but yeah, we would, expect that this campaign work we're doing and will be doing in the future is going to be very conducive to like a good speed game. And yeah.
I mean, I guess from my standpoint, it isn't impossible to get a showcase sort of block. I know GDQ events also have things like Tetris, right? Where it's like just showing off like the different, I guess, ways to play it. So I think it could actually be very possible to get like a mmod showcase block sort of thing where we have, somebody or like a good player from each of the modes showcase like different maps and just the different gameplay that you can do. I think that would be awesome. Honestly, the best would be the campaign. The best for sure, because that has a set start. We'll even have a speedrun mode, so they could even just run that at the event. But I mean, it wouldn't be impossible to get like a just cool little showcase, like hour to 2 hour block submitted after 1.0. I think that'd be really cool if they let us do that, because it is speedrunning. Like, it's individual levels, but it's still, it's not like, oh, we're just advertising our game. It's like, this is a speedrunning game. This is perfect for this event, right? So I would love to. I would personally love to try to get the game into GDQ twice, at least. Once for that showcase. We could do one every event or every other year or something like that. And then another for the campaign. I would love to show off the campaign. Either myself or, sit on the couch or, commentate for it. Yeah. So, for sure.
One other thing to consider is there's also the idea of map playlists where we could have competition on that level, where it's not necessarily a campaign, but it's not just like random individual maps. They're actually like in an order.
Yeah. Like the gauntlet, like bhop gauntlet. Like just game mode gauntlets like that could be really cool to showcase just speedruns of map after map chained together. It doesn't show off our lovely UI as much if they just do that. But it'll get the point across, I think. But yeah, very good point there. Was there any other input on this? No? All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Shiny Shuck, for that question. It's a really good one.
All right. The next question is from Justyoureventualruler, who's asking, how does the team plan to tier maps after the game is out? Will it be decided by the mapper, the people, or a group? Can the tier of a map change, and if so, how? And how will this affect the players?
So we sort of touched on this. Well, I guess this is asking more along the lines of like tier shifting, but like with the second part of the question, I guess. The first part we did answer. So the tier is eventually decided by the map review team, with influence from the mapper. So, or the submitter, I guess, if we're porting maps, right? For the most part, right, tier is extremely subjective. It's really hard to like rank maps like objectively, right, in terms of difficulty, because it's like the approach that we need to take differs per mode as well. Like, for example, IzzyHoP Coast, you can walk the entire map basically and beat it. So like, is that tier 1? But it's like versus the speedrunning, like, or like speedrun route, right? Not world record, but like going fast, I guess, or something like that, where it's going to be like that's more of a tier 2, tier 3 sort of thing. So I mean, it's really going to be looking at the map review team's opinions on what they think the tier should be, combined with the influence from the mapper themselves. Because usually mappers have a good idea of what they're trying to go for when it comes to tier, but they're not always accurate, right? The mapper has ground out the map in testing and placing and designing the map. So for a lot of the time, it's going to be kind of just we need a second opinion on it. But with that, with the map review team and the mapper kind of together, we can get around an average tier that we should rank it as. We don't want to change tiers. As for like the second part of this question, we don't really want to change map tiers that much. They might decrease over time. That's to be expected as skill, just overall general skill through the mode gets better and optimizations.
Modes,
especially newer modes too, that just people don't understand it yet, and then as more and more people get really good at it, these maps that have been around forever are probably going to be pretty easy. But we have to keep in mind that we can't go too low or change a tier too low or even too high. I would assume we would lean more towards the higher tier. If there's like a range of tiers selected, we would choose higher in that range. Ideally, it'd get down to 1 or 2 numbers, right? Because we're going to our tier scale is going to be 1 to 10. We are bumping up to 10 tiers to try to help pad the map that's tier 3 but feels more like a tier 2 but hard sort of thing, right? So that way it's fleshed out more and it's like actually properly a tier 3 or 4, I guess, in that scale. We hope that we're able to get a map review process in place that can give an accurate tier that would only be adjusted 1 or 2 points at most in the future and like over time, right? So that kind of level of I guess decision needs to be made. And how will this affect the players? I mean, honestly, completion and like if you get when you complete a map that's a specific tier, the tier only affects how much cosmetic XP that you get from that. So if we change the tier after the fact, you already got that XP. We're not going to take it from you. It's just any future completions or first time completions won't reward as much XP, right? Because it's a lower tier now. So it won't affect timings either. I think, with the rank system, leaderboards and all that based on purely time, there's nothing that really changes there. You don't get more rank points or anything like that. It's rank points is purely based on time and not the difficulty of the map. Though keep in mind, the harder the map, the easier it will be to rank on it. So yeah, that's just something to keep in mind there. But yeah, is there any other input on this on these questions?
Not a ton. No, it definitely feels like IzzyHoP with some of the maps will go down a tier or 2.
Yeah.
Maps like Reptile, which are currently tier 6 out of 6.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe when we end up expanding that out to tier 10, which we'll be doing in the future, that will end up being sort of preemptively only sort of tier 7 or 8 because we can expect IzzyHoP to get a fair bit harder. We know that IzzyHoP can be considerably harder than that is. But that stuff is kind of hard to anticipate in the
right.
Well-established maps and well-established game modes like really should be in a solid position. And,
yeah. All right. Well, we'll move on. Thank you, Eventual Ruler, for that question.
All right. The next question is from Linguiste, asking, what is your position on people changing their mouse driver speed and acceleration curves? Personally, I don't care.
Yeah, I mean, the last one, I'm not too sure about mouse driver speed, like what really that entails, I guess. Just like hertz. I don't know. But like acceleration curves, definitely. Like I use InterAccel, I think it's called. For I mean, it's just the only way that you can get like a nice mouse accel, like that's linear. It is kind of unfortunate that the source mouse accel is just so awful.
Yeah.
It's like I don't even know if we should have it on the settings. It's that bad, but Someone probably is used to it from other Source games.
Personally for me, yeah, I think it's okay. I think that, you know, people will have all different types of hardware that we just can't anticipate. If we were to care about it, it would very quickly go down a rabbit hole of like what do we allow and not. So really what we're looking forward to more is just making sure that it's conveyed that just like you can use acceleration curves, you know, you can edit your mouse speed, you know, to whatever's comfortable to play with. Because again, we don't want you to hurt yourself. If there's like mouse excel that works really well and doesn't cause injury on your hand from strafing or something, we'd want you to use that. The main thing is that we just don't want you to use a program that plays the game for you. So like that's kind of just where we draw the line with like, okay, so like when it comes to altering mouse input, sure, you can alter how it's like interpreted and like sent into the game maybe, but like right, with like acceleration curves and stuff like that. But if the game, if it's playing the game for you, right, that's where we're gonna take the hard stance there of cheating. So I assume that's the angle that was being taken here, is like, is it okay to change mouse settings like this? Yeah. Yeah, you know, my mouse has a DPI switch on it itself, so it's like, yeah, like we're not gonna be looking at like your mouse speed or anything like that, right? Like, I mean, we could take note of it, but like we're not gonna ban based on that. Yeah, so hopefully that answers that. Was there any other input for this question?
No.
Cool, we'll move on. Thank you, Linguiste, for that question.
Linguist has another mouse question. Will there be official support for 8,000 hertz mice?
No, you're not allowed. No, like what
1,000 hertz?
What is?
They're that high already?
I don't really know.
That's not really, you know, yeah, it's not for us to. What I don't. Yeah.
For the most part,
We need 8,000 hertz mouse, right?
yeah, the devs would need
Send
one.
us one.
Yeah, right. We would need one. The second thing is, I don't know if it really has any benefit. At some point, the number of samples that the game can even like take in, right? Because the game has to sample your mouse. Will just reach diminishing returns.
Right.
So if the support is like the mouse will work with the game, as in it won't break or like be really jittery or something, yeah, we would love to do that. We don't want you to buy a fancy 2030 mouse and not be able to play the game. So we will try to support as many, you know, like different hertz mice or I guess, you know, input rate mice that we can. If it comes to will we sample your mouse at 8,000 hertz? Probably not. That, you know, I haven't looked at the input sampling code. We do have it. And in fact, there's actually probably some frame rate related things in there that could help us try to unlock the 1000 FPS jitter or lag or speed up that happens there. So yeah, we'll be looking into that, like kind of sampling code to see if like maybe there's something that Valve was assuming that no device will get over 100 hertz or something like that, and we could try to like rewrite it to support any hertz or something. We'll see. Again, I'm not accusing Valve Code of being bad here, but like I'm just saying I don't know what it's like. So who knows? But yeah, I haven't personally seen an 8K kilohertz mouse, but I wouldn't doubt it. I bet Razer's all over that shit, like gamer mice or something, you know. So we'll definitely keep an eye out. We'll try to get a dev with it and then see how it plays. Because stuff like that we could very easily test. When it comes to like hardware, it gets a little harder, like graphics cards or builds, right? Because we would have to actually emulate your build or build the build itself. So yeah, when it comes to like peripherals like this, like keyboard and mice, we could look into and try to make sure they work, right? Ensure they work. So yeah, so maybe maybe there will be support for it. We just have to see. Cool. Is there any other input for this question? All right. Thank you, Linguiste, for that question as well. Move on to the next.
All right. So Ark is asking, with Valve's new agreement to waive the Havok licensing costs for future source mods, what financial/code benefits will Momentum reap from the agreement?
Awesome question.
Nothing financially.
Yeah.
That's for sure. We'd never buy it, so.
Yeah. Yeah, so I guess from my perspective, we just wanted Havok code. There's some bugs right now in the CSGO version of Havok that cause sticky bombs to clip through specific corners. That doesn't happen in 2013 or like TF2 branch. So we want to take the code and basically make sure that there wasn't like some weird optimization or something that's causing this. So for the most part, the code benefits are vastly outweighing here. It's another piece of the source puzzle that is now more complete. Having more control over the entire engine, we can optimize it, we can recompile it with more optimizations as compilers get better. We can debug it fully, though I think we were able to before because Valve gave us the debug binaries for it. But we, for the most part, like having more control over the code base is always better when it comes to large projects like this, because you can do so much with it. We were even joking about we could technically, if we get there was like one more library to figure out. It was like video related services. If we could get that, we could actually compile like all of Chaos into one exe. So like you don't even have like all the DLLs in your bin folder anymore, but it'd probably take like 30 minutes to link. So we're probably not gonna do that. But anyway, sorry for the nerd talk, but like we get to have a lot of fun with the code. That's really what we were looking forward to. It is kind of surreal in a way to have the code that's been the fabled, gatekeep to all of the licensing and like engine access and stuff like that. It's been kind of the biggest name whenever you hear source engine license. Havok's usually very closely followed, right? So it is pretty surreal, but in terms of finance, they waived. So like to explain the situation for those unfamiliar, Havok is a physics library inside of the source engine that's actually not made by Valve. Valve licensed this Havok physics engine from some company called Iperon or something, and then they got bought by Rad Game Tools. So Rad Game Tools owned, I believe, Havok and like Miles and stuff like that, a bunch of engine specific tools. And then Microsoft specifically bought Havok out from Rad Game Tools, I believe. And then Microsoft and Valve have a pretty good relationship from early on in their company life. So they agreed to waive the cost of Havok, which has been notoriously like thousands of dollars to license for like a commercial game. So Gary's Mod, like all of these source engine projects that cost money on Steam had to pay this license one way or another. So Hunt on the Freeman, right? Like all the great games on Steam. And so with our case, we were able to get engine license with an agreement with Valve by being a completely free-to-play mod. Like a completely free-to-play platform. We were able to basically use Valve's license of Havok, and they gave us pre-compiled binaries in order to make the Chaos build for Momentum. But now with this recent waive, this effectively means that anyone making a licensed source engine project can get access to the code. Those that were trying to sell their source mod or source project now don't have to pay that fee. So we weren't in that bucket. We were instead in the bucket of we just didn't have code access. So now we do. And it's cool. Lots of really archaic C code in there. It's wizardry. But yeah, it's pretty cool. And so it's a great benefit. I think it's fantastic that Valve's cooperating with source engine modders to provide this. I think that if we can get the CSGO branch, right now we only have TF2s. So we're trying to get CSGO branch because that's what we're based on. And it's actually a different interface altogether because of portals and stuff. So hopefully we get that. I'm sure they'll be able to send it over as well. And then, yeah, with that, we're able to look into why sticky bombs are so fucking weird on some maps. They are just, yeah. there's some weird problems that we can't debug, like we can't fix because it's in that code. So hoping that we get that other half, and then we'll be good. And now any project on Chaos technically also benefits from this too. So any of these fixes that we do. So it's great. It's fantastic. And I'm glad to see Valve opening that for us, opening that door for us. And thank you, Microsoft, for also agreeing to it too, because it was otherwise a breadwinner, right, for this company, like $30,000 worth of code now. So insane. And again, I don't know if it's still the case, right? Like I don't know if technically other projects that still use Havok still have to pay that fee. It's just only source projects don't have to because of Valve's relationship with Microsoft. So yeah, really cool. Really, really cool. Was there any other?
Not having that like
There's
black
free
box
games too, right?
But also like the main benefit is going to be that now we can add Bill's Big Thrill to static props as well. So yeah.
Yeah, we can figure out why a Half-Life 2 glitch that goes by the name Bill's Big Thrill works, because that was also behind all the physics library code. So whenever we get time to do that, we'll look into it. But yeah.
We could revolutionize Half-Life 2 speedrunning.
Again.
It's not even a joke.
Can't
Like,
share
it actually
with
could.
anyone.
It actually could, yeah. If we could figure out why BBT works, yeah. If we could emulate BBT on more places, I don't know. I think the run's pretty like complete. Yeah. I think it's pretty good now. But who knows? Anyway, yeah. Was that all for this question? Any other input? Cool. Thank you, Ark, for that question. We'll move on to the next.
Ark has another question. I want to know, when exactly is the final leaderboard wipe planned? Is it going to be exactly at 1.0, or will there be like a 0.x.y final pre-release like hype build, so people can play against the records they saw their favorite content creators get?
So I guess I'll take this one because it's more of a project decision. Personally, I think it'd be really cool to have like the team set times on every map that we can. And then when we unleash the floodgates, you guys can go in and try to beat them, and probably obviously very easily do it, except for Ninja Cookies times. Good luck. But the main thing is that like we would love to get it to a point where it's not accepting times from anyone but like whitelisted Steam IDs, so that it could be pre-populated with specific times or something like that. And then that way we can have like some times to go for. So there is a top 10, right? Because, all 30 of us on the team have done some times. Stuff like that. I think that'd be great. I think that would be awesome to have. So it's not just empty, right? You're going into a map and like there's no times at all set for the map. Though there is a sense of like, I don't know, like pioneering, right? Or like discovering, right? The first time ever, and then watch it get decimated in the next 5 seconds. So I don't know, like that kind of sort of honeymoon after the release sort of period's not going to last that long, right? Because so many people are going to be setting so many times. So yeah, I mean, I think it'd be cool to do. It would obviously be the 013 whatever version number that we do. It's just more of a website control, so we would be filtering on the website and then remove that filter when we actually push live. So yeah, for sure. I mean, content creators will send the builds out, get some hype drummed up there. They'll play the game, set some times, and then you can go in and beat them. But yeah, there's definitely going to be maps that the team can't beat. That's for sure. So there's going to be some maps where it'll feel kind of barren in terms of times, but it'll be cool to just have something to kind of aim for, so you can see some average like completions and stuff. So yeah, absolutely.
Having said, I'm sure like it's going to be fun just seeing like the masses of times just like flooding in, and like on a lot of maps, like I don't know, fucking Surf Utopia.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna take 10 minutes before like there's times just flooding into that right anyway. So I don't know. Once the gawking rabble gets in, I mean, that's
But yeah. Any other input for this question? All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Ark.
All right. The next question is from Bijako. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. I'm just guessing. How much of the existing map pool does Momentum aim to include from all the different game modes? Will there be more emphasis on community favorites and high quality maps to begin with?
So, again, I guess project lead here. So, we are aiming to support as many completable maps as we can. Obviously, there are maps that have not so great names and textures in them. So we will be editing and filtering based on that, but they also need to be completable. So we're not going to have work in progress, like unfinished maps. Really, the archival side, right, of the Momentum mod map library isn't really aiming to support everything that's ever been made. But I do see value in that. Anyway, the existing map pool, we want to get, if there's a map that's released that's pretty competitive, we would love to have it in the game. So pretty much all of the maps from all of your favorite servers, we'd love to support in some capacity. Keep in mind that even if it's not the most fun map or the longest map, as long as it's completable, a map can be added but unranked. So when you play the map, you won't get rank points for your placement on the leaderboard, but you'll still have a leaderboard and you'll get cosmetic XP, unless it's really, really jank, in which case we won't grant cosmetic XP. It's just for fun. But like we can do that too. Like we have avenues where, again, we aren't one multiplayer server that can only play one map. We are a game that supports as many maps as physically possible. So yeah. Will there be more emphasis on community favorites and high quality maps? Absolutely. Yeah, we don't. The only bhop map that's going to be there is bhop Freedom Puppies. You guys have to fight over it. I'm sorry. It has to be done. No, so obviously we want to have more complete experiences of varying tiers. So the original plan was to have like kind of 10 maps per game mode at release, but I realized how like little that is in the grand scheme of things. So we might actually do like around 100 per game mode if we can, where possible, right? So 100 surf, 100 surf, 100 bhop, 100 rocket jump and sticky jump. Obviously Conc might not have 100 maps already by then, but I'm hoping, right? I'm hoping we can get the effort through. And then IzzyHoP just doesn't have 100 maps, so we'll have to get on it. Yeah,
we need to just get a bunch of IzzyHoP mappers.
Yeah, honestly, right?
Just pay them.
Pay them in keys. Yeah, and so the idea there is that we do want to get fan favorites in. Having people be able to like see Momentum as like a platform to kind of like try out the maps that they're used to see how it feels is better than having just a bunch of random like what are these maps where people feel less intrigued to like explore the game. So if we have a quality kind of bar to set, and then just as we trickle, more maps in over time, that, quality bar can kind of lower a bit, but in the sense that like we're adding the maps from, lesser played maps maybe, and stuff like that, where maybe it was lesser played because of the quality, or maybe just it wasn't played that much. So yeah, there's definitely an emphasis on kind of getting community input on which maps. We might have kind of votes. We'll see how the map porting process is going to go, because honestly, if it gets enough people behind it and enough people working on it, we might just have every map ready, and then it's just a matter of like gauging the community to see like what maps should actually be on launch. But a lot of the like actual like maps in the game should just be when they're ready. That's kind of how they've been added right now. It's just like people voted on it in the jump forums for like the jump maps to be added, and then they were ported, zoned, and then added officially. So that kind of like, I'd like to continue that, but in the sense that like probably more grand, where there's like, we have like a list of maps and people could vote with like reactions on Discord or something to see like which map gets added. We do things like that. We'll also have a channel for when maps actually get published, like new maps actually pushed and playable. We'll have like a little bot, or maybe Momentum bot can let you know that a map's been published. So things like that as well, so that you're aware that there's more content to play, other than booting up the game and actually seeing it, right?
There's always the new tag or
Yep.
banner on the map selector as well.
Yeah, and we're going to be sorting by default the most recently added maps when you boot up the game. So we want you to check out the new.
Yeah, I do think in that regard we do want to make sure we do a lot to promote actually new maps.
Yeah.
If someone had spent a while making like a, really fancy brand new map, especially something momentum only, like, using our fancy entities and stuff, it makes sense for us to try and, really get that out there and make sure it doesn't get swamped by like, I don't know, some,
Big
Timmy's
surf, yeah,
first bhop map that was made in 2014 and like one person played
14.
I don't know.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah, there's actually going to be a greater emphasis on completely Momentum mod exclusive original maps, things that are using our entities and stuff. That would actually be really good to get in, first and foremost, so that people have something that they can't get anywhere else, right? So those for sure, but obviously those take time. So we'll be looking then at community favorite maps and they should be pretty quality maps to begin with. Was there any other input?
Nope. Just not worth porting.
Yeah.
Where, I think like Acer has like 3,000 bhop maps on some FTP server that like a lot of those just by like the name, like, and the number of, like, you can tell that like, especially, mode like bunny hop, and I guess he'll probably climb especially, it can be very easy to make a map for that mode, right? And so a lot of people go in and they'll make a first map. Every good mapper I'm sure has made some like crappy first maps. And there are a lot of those floating around there for different modes. Some stuff it's a bit harder because, to make a surf ramp, you have to learn to do something a bit trickier, so it's like inherently a bit more advanced. But yeah, especially for those modes where there are a lot of just really poor maps floating around, like those kind of things, they're just not really worth the effort in like porting and review and file storage. So yeah.
Happy, your webcam is going on a trip right now.
I know.
Did you drop it in water? What happened?
Laptop gaming, that's all I'm gonna say.
Oh my god. Oh my god. We gotta buy Happy a new webcam from the OC money. Oh
like
my goodness.
Warning.
Yeah, that is actually like, don't stare into that.
It almost looks like a network thing more than the webcam itself.
Yeah, honestly, yeah.
It's raining.
Maybe the encoder is just drunk. Like...
Oh, there we go. We're back. Yeah. Oh man, laptop webcams are pretty weird.
That was like impressively broken.
Nice little LSD trip for the chat. That's why you watch the Q&A live. You never know what you're gonna get. But yeah. Was there any other input for Jacko's question? Cool. Hopefully that answers that. Look forward to kind of giving input on what maps should be added. Because yeah, obviously if a lot of people want a map and it's really good and like, yeah, like we'll want to have it. So yeah, cool. We'll move on to the next. Thank you, Jacko, for that question.
All right, the next one comes from the Epic team member Cup. They're asking, what is the age rating for Momentum and how will it affect the range of cosmetics and other content you'll find in the game? I don't think we have to go through like ESRB, but there's definitely not going to be like sex.
I mean,
it's
hey,
streamer friendly.
Never say no.
We did talk about like removing blood effects, right? So we could like go for something more teen
Yeah.
I guess.
A real need for us to have blood, right? And it doesn't really
Yeah.
fit.
Yeah,
our style
it's
at all,
pretty
but,
silly.
I mean, yeah, some people are just in this game just for the sex. So yeah,
Yeah.
disappoint them.
I
Can't
mean,
play surf porn. I swear to God.
the orgasmic feeling of getting a PB. Yeah.
Ideally, it should be playable on streams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Uh,
The main thing is moderating content in maps, right? And
Yes.
Yeah.
we don't want to be like incredibly, heavy with censoring stuff, but like there's no reason to put porn on a map. Go look at porn somewhere else. Don't look at it.
It's not
in a map. What are
2004
you doing?
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. There's just there's just no need.
Yeah.
The DXT compression makes it way better.
It doesn't.
To be fair,
Right,
it does compress it down.
There's still gonna be guns though, so if
Yeah.
you're very
Yeah, right.
if you do not like the sight of that, that's gonna be unfortunate. You
We're
can
not having
turn off
sprays
view
anyway.
models, I guess.
Yeah. I
If
mean,
you're having sprays, like the worst you can do is draw like a penis using the paint.
Paint.
That will show up in the lobby.
yeah. In which case, we have toggles and remove. You can remove that. For the most part, yeah. The age rating, if we were to actually go through ESRB or another rating board, would be T. Our goal is T. We do have guns, so you have to shoot yourself in order to propel yourself. So like, there's no way around being like, ooh, it's made of air, or what. Like it's a rocket launcher. It's going to shoot rockets, and you're shooting yourself. So it's like the theme is already there. It can't be literal toddler babies rolling up, claiming world records. So we are going for T. But I mean, we don't have to submit to ESRB. We could, I think. I don't know. You have to pay. I don't know. Anyway, like we're for the most part just going for kind of like family friendly. Little Timmy can get some world records if he's all right with seeing some guns. And maybe lobby penises painted on the wall. That's like the worst that'll happen. But the point there of map moderation is way more important. So we're going to be making sure that we're scanning everything for porn and for anything more gross than that. That shouldn't be in maps. Just you have the internet at your disposal. Go look at that elsewhere. We'll be replacing those textures with maybe textures of little kittens or something. So it might not be surf. It might be named surf porn, but it might not have any porn in it. It'll be, I guess, was it like cute porn, cuteness, like heart throb. Anyway,
softcore.
Yeah. Anyway, there's definitely when it comes to cosmetics as well. We're not gonna have like fuck your PB or like whatever t-shirts or something or whatever for our player model, right? Like we're gonna just make sure that they're fun, that they encourage showing off or representing who you are and what you like to do in the game. So we're not gonna have I don't think we're gonna have any like adult or M-rated things. We are going to repurpose the blood, maybe even just remove it. Honestly, it's really funny shooting each other and seeing blood plop out because that shows that like these ghosts have blood, but it doesn't really make sense because ghosts don't have blood. Anyway, so
Ghosts aren't real.
yeah, right. Clip through walls. So hopefully that answers that. Cosmetics, like they'll be moderated and made by the team and like or put in by the team. So it's I mean we're not gonna allow like dildos and stuff or whatever, right? Like we're not gonna have like stuff like that where it would absolutely ruin little Timmy's life if he saw it. So hopefully that answers that. Was there any other input for it? Cool. We'll move on to the next one. Thank you, Cup, for that question.
All right. Dr. Jaska asks, will Momentum Mod be accessible in all parts of the world without any restrictions to content? And does it have any effect on cosmetics like skulls and etc.? I think that really depends on Steam.
Yes.
Where they can send data.
Yes. Yeah. So Steam does have a presence in China now, but to get through to China, you have to do a lot of very specific steps to get natively on Steam in China. Like almost like how Perfect World teamed up with CS:GO to get the launcher there. So I think China might not be the most accessible place for Momentum, just because Steam isn't the most accessible place there. There are ways around it. Obviously, there's always ways around it. So that's kind of the main one. That's not really our decision. I mean, I could look into what's going to be required, but if it's like this whole really long process to get just a presence there, we might not do it. Whereas a AAA, publisher or something could, dedicate an entire like team to it. So we'll see. But when it comes to restrictions to content, again, we want community guidelines. We want this game to be relatively safe for work, right? Like we can't moderate chats and we can't moderate, too much, but we'll try our best to kind of make it, as safe as possible. And then, you really have to go out of your way to find people or whatever that would break that. And then all of the content that we're, trying to provide with the game should also follow that. So like skulls and stuff, I know some traditions don't, like the other thing too is like we're not edgelords. We're not trying to offend people with cosmetics or whatever. The only thing that would be offensive is just like towards like your runs or something, right? Like we'd have like some cosmetic that's just really badass because this person played a ton and got really good runs or something, right? Like we'll have that level of like bragging, but like we won't have like, oh, like everyone from this region stinky. Like we won't have that. Like that's just gonna be dumb. No. And that's the problem with like open workshop stuff is like, if that's like what we allowed, that just kind of comes across as like, oh, the game doesn't really care about that. So cosmetics, user submitted content like maps and stuff like that are going to be moderated. They're gonna, we're gonna look into it. We don't want to censor people either. At the same time, some people might have different opinions on how things should go, but I don't know if like a game mode map is really the best way to get an opinion across. Like we have forums for that if you really want to go yell at each other about something, or Discord. But yeah, I would say that just realistically, the content in the game should just be approachable by everybody. And we shouldn't be insensitive. And I mean, I know there's also the other side of that coin of like, we can't bend to every whim because then we remove a Santa hat from our options cogwheel icon or something, right? Like that, where it's like some Norwegian, or I forget the situation, but Visual Studio Code had this problem where they added something really festive and somebody got extremely offended because the Santa hat is like a rape trigger or something like that. It was weird. It was really bizarre. And they just removed it and everybody got really upset. So we don't want that to happen. So we're going to make sure we're very careful and just like make sure that it's known that like what we're adding into the game fits the game, and maybe seasons around the game, events like that. Yeah. That was a bit down the rabbit hole. Sorry about that. We're going to make sure that like what we have in our game makes sense to be in our game. I'll just leave it there. So if there's anything like skulls that could be offensive, if it's raised to us, we'll look into redesigning things that make sense to redesign. If it was like a lot of it might just be not knowing, some ignorance, I guess, right, of not knowing like how it could offend or anything like that. So we'll try our best to make sure we're middle grounding it as much as possible, because we don't want to lean either way and we don't want to offend anyone anyway. So
I'm so skeptical that's ever like gonna be an issue. I think like if we end up moderating people for like, it's not so much for sort of like meaning that like everyone can play the game or something. Like if we mute someone in global chat for just going around saying a bunch of slurs or something, we're not doing that because like little Timmy can play. It's because we don't want to play a game in which people are doing that. Like I don't want to see that in global chat or something. Like it's more, I don't know, I feel like it's more of a matter of just like making the game not be full of like incredibly annoying people as opposed
in content,
to, like,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just like don't yeah, anyone that's being like a massive dick just would, yeah.
Yeah. So when it comes to regions, we'll try to be in every region that we can. Obviously, right, the globalization aspect of our platform is really big. We like the idea of being everywhere, where servers can't, especially or where servers ping, right, was the worst, because that's our advantage there. So, yeah, we'll try our best to make sure that we're a properly globalized platform, and that also means respecting GDPR, right? Privacy laws and things like that. We're not hopefully going to be collecting information that we don't need about you. I know we're free to play, but like, it's because we have to be. We can't sell your data, because also Valve would get really upset about that too. So all of the data we're going to be collecting too is only for the game. So cool. Any other? Yep. Go ahead.
Since remember that I'm lawyer, and I'm just gonna make sure that Russia is gonna be covered. Like there's gonna be no illegal stuff for Russia, so you have Russia covered, my friend.
Nice. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. That's what we're looking for. So awesome. Cool. We'll go ahead and move. Oh, what was that?
Oh, I was just going to read the next question.
Oh, yeah. All good. We'll move on to the next one. Thank you, Jaska, for that question.
All right. So Plar is asking, how will styles work? Will you need to choose a specific style in a menu, or will it detect your style automatically, like on KSF? And will there be a mode thing, like scroll task / segmented, so you can combine both mode and style? I think that gets into kind of run flags, but also, I guess I can explain what styles are for anyone that isn't familiar. Basically, it's in Surf. I don't know if it's very popular in like Jump or like sticky jumping or anything, but there's it's basically limits on how you can move. Yeah. So there's half sideways where you can either like go WA or like WD, something like that. Yeah. And there's things like A only where you just can only press that one movement key. I don't know what our plan is for detecting that, if we're going to be just making it a run flag that you select or automatically detect it.
Mm-hmm. Probably automatically. Yeah, the same with how KSF does it. At least for some of them. And stuff like tick rate, that just kind of comes with...
You have to select, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you have to restart the map and you're on that tick rate, so...
Yeah. Yeah, I like the manual approach. I'm not too sure about the automatic detection. I think going into the leaderboard and basically applying filters that way, and then being like having a button or something very clear to like start a run with these settings would be great. I think that would be a really great way for people to not accidentally see that they're doing half sideways and freak out. Because again, the newer player experience here, having something that shows, hey, the style is normal. Oh no, it's half side. Oh no, it's backward. Oh, like if it freaks out like that all the time, I feel like that's going to just be a little weird for a lot of new players. So I think having it very clearly defined in our leaderboard, so that the leaderboards are there for them, and then having the ability to apply the settings there through that. And then for tick rate, you do have to restart the map. That's just how it works.
One other thing to keep in mind is that a lot of people have different configs that they run depending on what style they're using. Yeah. So that might be something to take into account if you're selecting it. Mm-hmm. And if we were going to like enforce styles, we could also actually limit what keys they're using instead of just like invalidating your run if you hit the wrong button.
Yep. Like we have more control over what you're pressing. Yeah. So. Yeah. Will there be a mode thing like scroll task segmented that you can combine? Absolutely. So segmented like tasks and segmented are kind of together in the sense that like segmented's more of just real time, like you just have save points through it, and tasks is like every tick is a save point, really, right? So like that's kind of the differentiation there. So then you can go back and like actually control every single tick of how the run worked. But segmented is more just like we don't stop recording the run if you teleport back to a save block or something. We just splice it instead there. And that'll be very helpful for getting the map showcase replays, but also for a dedicated mode in the leaderboards, sort of on its way to tasks, where it could show maybe a harder route that's executed in real time. You still have some skill there. And so you could combine them too. You could do a segmented A only, right? Things like that. We'll have them. The idea is that they're tags, right? So they're tags on a run. Obviously, W only and backwards it's not gonna be a thing, right? Like, so there's limits on like what can combine, and we'll have like checks in place for that. But when you go to like select, the UI itself will kind of like fade out the things that you can't combine with it. So if you want to see specific like movement flags, which is A only, half sideways, stuff like that, and then the like overall like I guess like recording mode or something could be tasks segmented, that could also be there as well. And then the ability to like restart with these settings and apply the setting and like have the game actually prevent specific things to we could like if you like try to turn around while you're doing a background or backwards run or something, we'll see that. So yeah, we have a lot more control, and so like I'm hoping that approach will kind of win over a lot of people. I know the automatic detection is nice because you don't have to do any manual fiddling, but once you get into the mode that you want to do, you don't really have to change it until you want to get out of it. So and then it resets when you leave the map too, so right when you're done. So yeah, hopefully that's satisfactory answer there. Was there any other input for this? Cool. All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Plar, for that question.
All right. Next question is from Justyoureventualruler. They're asking, how will the zone refactoring change things, and what does this mean for mappers?
So, zone refactoring is coming in 0.10.0. We're currently working towards 0.9.1. Almost there, actually, like 10 cards left for 0.9.1. But the zone refactoring at 0.10.0 is changing how zones are working to store them better, in the sense that right now it's just like a set flat like area, and then anything above that can be in the zone. So we want to change it to allow multi-level, so it can go down. Like if there's like a staircase at the end zone, you could land on the bottom, or you could land at the top. So like allowing like different Z positions, sorry for hitting the microphone, allowing different Z positions of the points, allowing settings to be set directly inside of the zone, so that bonuses and stuff that require 10,000 max velocity or things like that could set it just for that specific like track. And then any other like related settings there that we want to have in the zones themselves. And then we also wanted to refactor the tooling. So the tooling in game, we do have a tool that takes them from Hammer and spits out a proper zone file. We're going to be updating that as well, so you can still put the zones directly in the map via our Hammer and VBSP that will rip it out. It's called Zone Maker. So it parses your VMF, gets all of the zones out into the right data that it should, or into the right format, and then strips them out so that it's not compiled into the map. So it just helps with like zoning if you're a mapper. But obviously when we're porting maps, we need in-game zoning tools. We can't do that through Hammer. So we take, or I guess we could, but it gets complicated because you have to decompile the map, and that could lead to inaccuracies and stuff like that. So for the most part, we just have an in-game zone editor, and that will also be updated to have a lot of the features that you could find on a lot of various surf plugins that have zoning tools as well. So things like snapping snapping to like a ceiling, snapping like filling kind of like a platform, things like that would be really valuable for us to have to make it just extremely easy. Making it more like an in-engine tool that you could like kind of like click on zones, edit them, and like rearrange them and stuff like that. So making the editing process way more streamlined and easier, because right now it is very tedious and linear.
Yeah.
And like if you mess up, you either have to delete your zone file or like know how to use the tooling that we have, and we don't even expose all the tooling and stuff. So yeah, there's so many things that we still have to do, like in expose and help the like zoner out, right? But yeah, for mappers, I mean, you can still, all of the things that are in these zones ideally will be in the entities themselves as well, so you can place them in Hammer and then use our tooling to compile the map and get the zone file itself that you would just give over to us. The idea that the zones are being a separate file is that they could be updated without the map needing updating. Otherwise, we just ship zones inside of maps, right? If we wanted, but obviously nothing's final. So separating them out makes them more modular, makes it easier to update if we need to. Yeah. So that's what it means for mappers. That's coming 0.10.0, and then after all of that's in place and tested and pretty good, we're going to open the floodgates to more people that want to help port maps, get zones for all of the map pool that we want to support. Right, so, yeah. Was there any other input? Nope. All right, we'll move on. Thank you, Eventual Ruler, for that question as well.
All right. Next question comes from ZM, asking how will map changes not made by the Momentum Mod team / for Momentum Mod be handled? Does the Momentum Mod team have full range to change anything about any map, or is it all based around the original creators of the maps? And what about maps with inactive creators?
So obviously there are maps from like 2005 that we are not going to be able to we've tried. I think, was it Conc Speed? You've even emailed the original creator.
There was a map released almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And there was an email address included in the README.
Yeah.
It was a Hotmail address, so probably not a thing. I think I maybe found the person's Steam profile and tried adding them, but I don't know. Like, yeah, we try. We do try.
So there's going to be some liberty that we're going to be taking with every map. After all, we are hosting it. It is our game, right? Like, so we do have some liberty there. However, we are trying to take this approach of we want to make maps the most consistently competitive that we can, and enjoyable, right? So removing porn, removing, all the stuff that's not supposed to be in maps in 2021.
Random elements.
Removing or maybe even modernizing some of the entities to use the momentum teleport trigger that can reset velocity, things like that, to kind of simplify a lot of the entities used in the map. A lot of it will be smaller fixes, mainly because, we're not trying to recreate maps, or we're not trying to completely demolish the original mapper's vision. We want to respect mappers' like wishes when it comes to maps. That's why we have the review process, but for the most part, we're hoping that like it's not going to turn into a slap fight between the review team and the mapper as we try to figure out the best way to do something. But yeah, I mean, we do have full reign, right? We have full reign because it is our game, but at the same time, we're aware of that. We don't want to lose the original intention that the mapper had with the gameplay specifically. So we're not going to be making too many map altering changes. There are some, like bhop easy, for example, where we rotated the teleport to go straight through, so you don't have to look awkwardly behind you in order to preserve speed. So things like that might be pretty game changing, right? And pretty breaking in terms of what the original mapper might have intended. But things like that are just to make it more competitively viable. Things like that, really. But we're not going to like deconstruct the map to like improve stages 13, 14, 15 because they were shit or something. Like we want to make sure that we make it as like the most consistent that we can, so all of the entities, right? But also just making sure that when we're adding maps, the overall design and overall gameplay feels great. So if there are weird things that are just kind of nitpicks, or if there's something spamming the console or something, right, we're going to look into trying to fix that. Because we want to make sure that these experiences are great for everybody. So yeah, like we're going to try to respect the original creators' kind of design as much as possible. And a lot of maps don't really need a lot of fixing. They're just good to go, right? Like we're just removing the TF entities and repacking it, right? Like things like that, where it's like there are maps that only need like a basic like overview of like, okay, there's like 3 things, right, in this map that could be removed, and that's it. So yeah, it varies. It'll vary per map, and it'll probably get more, leaning more towards momentum changes for maps that have been around for a while. So yeah. Yeah. Was there any other input for that?
Momentum is a clean slate, right?
Yeah.
And I think, a lot of servers who have had the same timer for ages, same leaderboards, right? And, and don't want to, especially, if you have the same map on a bunch of different servers, you don't want to like invalidate the checksum and stuff. You don't want to go changing that map a ton. So like, there's a lot of reasons why you might not want to like, make the stage 4 or stuff classics or whatever have like laggy ramps. I don't know how it has laggy ramps, but it does somehow, and stuff like that. We might as well fix that up, like that, and it's a clean slate. We can do that now and not then worry about resetting leaderboards and stuff as much. So, yeah, it's the inactive stuff. It makes sense to clean it, especially the popular.
Some things like won't really require too big of changes. Like right now, for like say for like volume sliders, we just need to change the directory of the sound. Like that's it. So I don't think it'll require like any decompile. It'll just be
maybe an entity stuff, but yeah. That's super easy, and that's like a massive change. So by having that, right, volume sliders now work in the game. You can turn off the music on like bhop Lego 2 or whatever. I've been crying out for this for months.
Yeah.
It's
annoying.
So yeah, that's the kind of little thing that. Also, we have a thing called play bhop sound on some really old maps like bhop Easy, where they play a door sound. We currently have like a setting for it, and like we were discussing this earlier, we should just fix that importing, right? You don't need to use a funk door or funk button or whatever it is to make a bhop block anymore. Like it's just don't do that. Use a one hop or whatever it's called. Touch ups like that way more going to be way more common.
Yeah, that is a good point about the bhop, kind of the, because it's like the modes themselves have evolved to change, right? Like a lot of bhop maps nowadays are fully designed with auto in mind and stuff, right? Like so there are old maps that aren't, but obviously, right, we're not going to turn off auto for those maps. So for like those cases where the mindset of the game mode was just outdated, right, as outdated as the map is, right, those are going to be the places where we probably take a little more executive decision on what's happening for the map, right? So yeah, the door stuff that was actually more of a 5 feature, 50 feature. And that was just porting the maps and like locking the, like we have an automatic system that goes through every block and locks them and like converts the things into the right like collision. All of that kind of stuff will just be done in the map approval, like kind of review process when we're porting maps, and then that way we just have the best BSP that we can get for the map, as opposed to 5 systems on top of the game mode that just like, okay, you loaded a map, let's fix it up like at runtime, versus here's the map that just works.
A lot of the reasons maps are weird and jank like that is especially back in the day, people didn't really know how to make maps. There weren't good tutorials for
stuff. That too.
with stuff like this, when we're changing old stuff up, we'll also be doing very good documentation for how to do the new stuff properly. So
Yeah.
understanding a new sound system, I don't think we've done docs for it yet, but we absolutely will. Meaning that if you're making a new map and you want to ensure that like you actually have good audio and stuff, that will be very obvious how you do that.
Yeah.
A lot of it is jank in maps is just because no one really knew what they were doing back in like 2011 or whatever when people were first making surf maps.
Yeah. Was there any other input for this question? PM the Conc speed dude on an account they're still active on. Let us know if they get back.
Please, yeah.
Because it's actually pretty cool. We're doing like a full-on remake of the map in like modern source with like CSM and everything. It's gonna look beautiful. It's Conc speed whip currently on the map selector for all of those. We'll play some actually. We didn't play Conc, and we're also getting a lot of people telling us to.
Yeah. We've had over 69 please play Conc so far.
Oh, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
So we'll show that off, but yeah. I mean, we won't be giving too many maps that treatment. That takes a ton of time. So, but it would be really cool, right? If that was like normalized.
That's more of a, like a labor of love for me, like it's a personal project that I've been wanting to do for a while. Wanting to finish for a while. I've been doing other stuff, but
I mean, plus the map wasn't even on grid. It was like it was pretty bad. So like we needed to. Yeah.
I've already spent about 20 to 30 hours on that map.
Yeah.
Not actually doing any. Well, no,
texture,
right. Include the art stuff I've done, which is currently a work in progress. But like the actual aligning stuff to grid and all that was manual work, which was meaning moving every single brush. Because I got through a lot of podcasts. I was doing that. Yeah.
Was there any other input for ZM's question? Cool. Thank you, ZM. We'll move on to the next one here.
Yep. So CaWu asks, since SJ Iron Moon, have there been any more portal maps and anything cool that you want to show off?
Hey, it's my map. Hey. Nothing that I don't think like
portal maps.
No.
Yeah.
There's bhop.
I mean, you never know what like. I don't know if like Ninja's new map would have something, but I don't know. Rocket Jump definitely needs a portal map, though.
nothing cooler than SJ Iron Moon has been released yet.
Cool map.
I think Trip Portals is much cooler. But...
I think all maps are cool.
Yeah, there's the map I've been working on a bit on stream.
Trez.
Yeah. But it's like nowhere near done yet. But maybe in the future, we'll see.
Yeah. So there are some things probably work in progress. There's probably also a lot of people working on maps currently and just not sharing anything yet because they want to get it further along. So who knows? But yeah, I am so pumped. Trip portals. I mean, I can't sticky jump yet, so I couldn't do Iron Moon. I can't even do stage 1. But yeah, trip portals and just like any other like maps that start to use a lot of momentum entities like that. Oh man, it's so much fun to play. Our chat's like, we should probably raise the price of the Please Play cons.
Jesus. Yeah.
Anyway, the
supply and demand.
So yeah, I know. Right? There's a lot of demand to play Conc. I guess we're gonna have to play some. Okay, but yeah, so we just stay tuned. We do have some cool stuff to show off after the questions here, so do stick around. We're going to be showing off some more Panorama progress that we've been making, specifically with the settings, and then also I'll hopefully be able to stream this in DX11 so we can show how far along DX11 is as well. And maybe we'll catch some crazy bugs or something and make it very easy to submit a bug report. So yeah, cool. Okay, so I believe the next question is our last one. Oh, yeah, okay.
Did we want to do some of the late questions before jumping into these ones? Or there's a few extra ones in
Q&A live
Discord.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I think ZM Yeah. Okay. So we could go with ZM's question here. We'll go into the Q&A live, pick up the last minute questions you guys have been asking, and then if there are any chat questions, we can pick them up there, and then do the last question, which is the big news. So cool. We'll start with ZM's question. Yeah.
So ZM says the plan for release was after 0.13.0. Have priorities changed in such a way?
Uh-oh.
Did XP die?
Did he fall? What happened? They got to him. Oh no.
Sorry.
We're next.
I'm back. People were very mad at me for oh, my camera's still...
Yeah, it's back now.
Give me a second. Okay. Yeah, I was attacked for delaying the announcement.
Yeah, exactly.
ZM wants to know.
Yeah.
So the plan for release was after 0.13.0. Have priorities changed in such a way that release will be after 0.10.0 or somewhere around there? And are we confident we're going to release on time without it being rushed?
Okay, so the first part's already been answered before. The plan is still 1.0 after like the last 0.13 updates. So like the version numbering is not going to change. We don't have any other intermediate versions like 0.13, 0.14, 0.15, you know. So like that's still the same. Release after say 0.10.0, I don't know. Like I don't know if we can like fully release at that state.
Yeah.
I can talk about it more in the like later on, but and then are you confident you're going to release on time unrushed? Absolutely. It's been stressed enough to the team, and you know anyone that you know pays attention to it is that we are only working in our free time, right? If stuff comes up in life that is an extremely serious, like requires all your time, schooling, work, things like that, it is more important than this game. And I know it sucks to say that to people that have been, you know, looking for this game for forever, but it's true. Like we don't have a studio here. It's not an active salary. It's not anything like that. We got our OC, we got our Open Collective money and Twitch affiliate money coming in, but like it's not enough to be able to work on this full time for anyone.
We can't crunch. We're never going to be able to crunch.
And there is no point to crunch. I think what you're seeing a lot in the game industry now is anything that is rushed to meet some deadline, some date or whatever will be bad. There's that Nintendo person quote that's like, or it might be Miyamoto, I forget, it's gone around in meme circles so long I forgot who originally said it, but it's like the rush game is forever bad, but the delayed game is eventually good. So we might, you know, have to keep delaying or something like that, right, if that's the case. But the thing is that rushing this is not the answer. Getting it into people's hands just for them to see the unfinished state and then move on, which we've already had happen with people that have agreed to give us feedback on the game and never did. It's just, yeah, like we don't want that at a massive scale. So instead, right, we're focusing small, we're keeping playtesting small, things like that for the time being, because we need the feedback there. And we don't want to rush things that, you know, need to be set up properly. At least I don't. I'm more of a completionist when it comes to work. I like to see things through, even if it isn't the greatest work. You know, school's kind of taught me that, and I guess just hearing around in this industry, shipping is the most important thing. Right, getting to the point where you have a tangible product or project or whatever that people can try out. I think we've hit that point. We have a tangible thing. It's just the access to it's not very public. And obviously shipping in this case is 1.0, right? So yeah, so we're not rushing anything because that leads to burnout. Crunch, right, leads to immense burnout. And you don't want to rush things like this, especially with how we've set everything up, because I think that would start to just ruin everyone's motivation. Because when you have more than, like, everyone's, you know, based on free time and motivation. So if you have people on the team that start burning out and stop showing up, you know, to meetings or stop doing things, then you yourself start to feel less inclined to do things, and so it could cascade there, and that could be the death of a project. And that is the death of many projects, but not momentum. It's you know, we're taking our time, we're making sure that it's not grinding to a halt, we're making progress every day, and I'll get in more into that too, but we're not rushing. We will never rush this project. It will come out when it's ready. It might take time, you know. It will, you know, money helps us in the sense that we're getting people that, for example, Zofa didn't have a working computer and is one of the most important, like, art people on the project, as he's lead, right, for a lot of these artists. So we needed to get him on the latest, like, we needed to get him a build that could support his work and then also get him back in to be able to continue. So things like that, right? Like, that's what the money is helping out for. And yeah, and so, right, like, I'm hoping that people understand, right, this game is eventually coming. It is. I promise it's not some Ponzi scheme or something. Like, I'm working on it to play it, right? I am probably the most hyped person in this world for this game. Right, and that's crazy coming from the person that's probably spent the most time looking at it, but it's true. I genuinely want to play this game, so I don't want to rush it. I don't want it to come out and be terrible and feel terrible for having pushed this out because 50 people could play it, but rather than, you know, taking another couple, I don't know, months, years, I don't know. I don't think it's going to take like another 5 years or something. We're definitely soon, but hopefully that kind of answers this. We have more info soon too. I kind of bundled this near the end. I just realized now that maybe doing this question first was not the best. We should have probably done more Q&A live questions. So a bit of a transition to the Q&A live questions, maybe, or did anybody?
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, I guess, finish your dialogue that there's a saying the true love waits. So
yeah,
if you all love momentum, just wait. I guess
be
it's
patient.
gonna pay off. So.
Exactly.
So a lot of the Q&A live questions that are left can kind of be speed run.
Okay.
So I have a feeling a lot of people want us to get through them quickly.
Yeah.
First one, Miswift asks, will we be able to download maps from within the game like on servers? And the answer is yes.
Yes.
But better.
Yes.
I think that's all we really need to say.
Yep.
I mean, when you see the map selector, you'll see.
Yeah.
IzzyHoP asks, will Momentumod have Jump Eons RC2? The answer is maybe. I don't know I don't know the mapper. We'd have to ask them.
Yeah.
Cup asked, how long do you expect the entire campaign to take to complete on average? I'm not sure about that one.
2 years.
To make it or to play it? Yes. Was the question to make it or to play it?
To play through it.
Oh, about 4 minutes. It's gonna be 1 minute.
You get out the tutorial, you surf on a ramp, and there you go.
Okay,
so much.
Depend on what modes you play. If you play all 4 modes, it will take a long time.
Yes.
If you play a single mode, it's gonna be
depends.
A bunch of maps, and it depends how fast you go. Maybe a single mode speed run might be about
20 minutes,
20 to 25 minutes.
Yep, that's
something
the goal.
like that.
Yep.
Yeah. So if it really depends on your skill level, right? We're not having things like cutscenes or like anything that's slowing you down as you play, right? Apart from Kleiner's Lab, we are remaking Kleiner's Lab.
Yes, yeah. Red Letter Day in its entirety.
Yeah, and unskippable. No, we're not having any of that. So it's gonna, we're not gonna sort of waste your time for the sake of it. And so it really, not that long. No, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. Next one, Flip asks, any thoughts on combining game modes like bhop with the rocket launcher? What I have to say is that's defrag.
Yep.
But we do
Leave
technically
us with it.
support stuff like that.
Yep. The goal is 2.0 and onwards, having a custom games sort of Halo-esque sort of thing where you can take elements from each mode and combine them to create like a new kind of style of mode. But yeah, play defrag.
Yeah.
That's what bhop and rocket launcher will equal in our game.
Yeah. And last but most important, Klowwd asks when TF2 bumper car implementation will be.
We already added it. It's a secret. You just have to figure out how to activate it. All right. Any other?
Implement the sentry guns on
The sentry gun jumping.
So I think that's it.
Okay.
So it's time for the next question.
Yeah.
the question.
The biggest one. Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
okay. Hold on. I need to make sure I'm prepped. So here, I'll go to the question here.
Yeah.
Everyone's asking it, right? It's late 2021. It's on our Steam store page. Where is Momentum Mod? You guys promised it. Where is it? Slamming the dinner table with your hands. Where is it?
Mm-hmm.
So I need to do some stuff, but Tom, do you want to take it?
Yeah, I can take over. So
Okay.
yeah,
What we've
it's
been working on.
Yeah, it's the big one. Graphics cards are really hard to come by at the moment. It's PC gaming is, it's in a tough spot. I think we all know that. So, and we're looking to the future. We've been reaching out to Valve lately, getting on well with them, but also we've been reaching out to Oracle, Coca-Cola, a bunch of things, looking at sort of platform work, all that sort of thing. And yeah, the way we feel this game is going to go in respect to the modern markets is, do you want to go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Yeah.
One moment. Okay.
Are you going?
Yeah.
uh-oh.
Perfect. We're still there. Yeah. Yeah, it's big news. It's been.
We were approached by Apple a while ago. Okay, I'm just kidding. Yeah, obviously we're not going mobile. We're actually doing something a little bigger. We are basically going to allow the public to sign up for playtesting immediately. Well, actually, we're actually waiting for Valve. Yeah, so like probably around Monday it'll actually be available. But the idea is that we are indeed doing a public playtest using Steam's playtest feature here. So there are two kind of snippets of. Oh, did it? Okay, it just stops rendering if I tab out. My bad. So we are going to push back. The 1.0 release is honestly it's not something that we can put a date on until we actually until we actually get there, right? Until we actually get close enough to be able to put okay, this is the week that we're actually comfortable and prepared for shipping. Obviously, the end of this year is not it. However, people have wanted to play the game and experiment around with it, make videos on it, etc. for a long time, and key related access has kind of helped us with keeping track of kind of gatekeeping it in a way that makes it manageable. Because if we were to just straight up release the game right now, we'd be overwhelmed. Our servers would be probably DDoSed, right off the bat. We'd probably fill up our memory or the storage on our server and stuff like that. So the idea is that we're going to have a playtest build that is publicly available. All you do to get access in this GIF, sorry for the quality, Traz might still be here. We have a beautiful WebM and MP4 and everything. But the idea is that you go onto Steam and there's this button it'll show up Monday, I hope. We're hoping Valve gets back to us for it, because we have to wait for them to approve it. But yeah, the idea is that yeah, the playtest button here is just one click, and you get basically you request access, and all we do is tell Valve, or like say through Steam, how many people do we want to actually playtest. So in the blog post that I also just recently pushed, I talk about it and like what it means. Effectively, like the game is going semi-public with this. We are going to be doing, so I think that's the next slide here. So, okay, yeah, let me actually go through the steps here. We'll go back to webcams here. Hi. So, the store page doesn't have the button yet. We're waiting on Steam, but when it shows up, we'll make I guess another announcement about that. Sorry, about the button not showing up. It's weird. But once it's available, anyone can sign up to it. We're not restricting who. It's kind of on a first come first serve basis. So this Momentum Mod playtest is just the key build. It's what people with keys have been playing for a while. We are just we're basically opening access up to the public so that we don't have to filter for keys, and you don't have to like sneak into our Discord in order to PM me for a key or something, begging me for a key or whatever anymore. You could go here, request access, and then we'll grant access, and I'll talk about that in just a sec here too. The idea here being that we want to have a more steady stream of playtesters that we can rotate through the various features we're about to start embarking on, of like larger lobbies, dedicated lobbies, the cosmetic system. We need larger numbers of people to playtest this. So to be able to get that kind of feedback, as well as just giving people access to the game, right? Because it's been years now of just private. We were open source for a while, but private. So this is hopefully satisfying all of the people on the side of, where is it? I want to play it now. You guys can sign up and then request access for it. And then all you do is just wait until we grant the key. I'll talk again about that scheduling for the grant, but this should also satisfy the people that are like, yeah, Momentum's not ready for public release, which we were in that same group there. It isn't. It's got quite a bit of work to go. We're still working towards 091, but we're making steady progress every single day. I kind of hinted at this in ZM's question there. The idea is that the progress that we're making could still be like previewed by people as well. And this is a great way to do that as well. For those, okay, so I guess, the playtest build is quite literally just it is just the key build. So people with keys probably, are wondering like, oh wait, no, sorry, that's the next question. So if you when you're able to sign up, which is hopefully soon. Again, Valve has to get back to us. We're kind of waiting, but we're announcing it now because once it's up, it's going to be first come, first serve. So just getting that there. But you should be able to request access, and it's first come, first serve. And so the idea for what we're thinking for granting people depends on the number of requests. So these numbers up here are just it's just a very basic function. But the idea is that we have a baseline, like a minimum that we're doing every single week. We are dropping keys access weekly. It will be directly through Steam, so you don't actually have to do anything but just be on Steam. So yeah. So the idea is that, just for starter numbers, 50 plus the number of requests divided by 50. So, right, as we gain batches of 50, there'll be another access point. So if we get thousands of people, right, we could bump up that 50 to be 150. We could divide it by a smaller number. Things like that. So the main thing there is just like, it just depends, right, on like the amount of requests. But I will... in the Discord, I will say how many the numbers that I used for it. So every week, we're thinking around Saturday, starting on the 4th, yeah. We're hoping again that we get the button on Monday. We're just hoping that Steam gets back to us. We didn't want to hold it in because obviously we wanted to time it with this Q&A stream, but you know, some things happen, so it's all good. It's coming though. I'm not pulling your strings. This is definitely happening. It's just a matter of when Steam gets back to us. So the other thing to keep in mind is that we can drop keys at will. It doesn't have to be every Saturday. We could do, for example, if there's a special day in December that maybe makes sense to drop a couple thousand access or something, you know, something like that. We could do that, you know, and we'll make that clear too. So yeah, this is ideally going to be a great middle ground and a great way to kind of still open it up to the public so that you guys can get in, but also kind of keep it a little bit gated because again, our servers, our infrastructure, it's not in place yet, but we're going to also need testing with it and stuff too. So like on one hand, right, we don't want to overwhelm ourselves, and on the other, we want to get really good public and just kind of general numbers feedback on things. So yeah. So this is kind of the rough formula we're using. It's subject to change based on the number of requests, but this is just a really basic thing that I just came up with. Like, so by default, 50 people every week. Again, if there's 150 and there's no change in that, 3 weeks later, everyone will have access, right? Like, I'm not going to decrease any of these numbers, but we can change them based on the response. So.
I should just say we don't have the button currently on Steam. Don't spend the next however long it is. It might be till Monday, constantly refreshing the page. I'd feel bad if people wasted their weekend doing that. It's not like it's gonna be this rabid rush to get stuff. I don't think so. I really wouldn't. Spend all weekend waiting on that button. Might not be till Monday. I don't know if we're going to do another post announcement maybe when the button is actually added by Valve.
I'll double ping at everyone in a week. I don't care. It's important news. Again, apologies that it didn't get there in time. We have no control over that. We are at Valve's whim here. So we were trying to get it for the Q&A stream, but we're hoping that it's really soon. So we will also post an announcement through Steam as well when it's live. So when the actual button's there. But yeah, I mean, definitely just hang out in our Discord and things like that. We will announce. We'll make it clear. Why'd you guys troll the mobile thing? Because why not? It's funny.
Underestimate how.
Yeah, wait. What do you mean troll? We're actually.
Have phones, don't you?
You do have phones. It's not an out of season April Fool's joke. But
just I would like to just kind of clarify things. We said in the chat a little bit, but if you do already have a key to the game, you should have the playtest on Steam. I think, right? Yeah. It's a separate app ID, and it is the same as the one you would get if you had a key. We kind of replicate them. The only difference is for lobbyists, because they're going through Steam and it's a different app ID. You can't play on the same lobby as somebody from the playtest version versus the internal kind of alpha version.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the only. I think it's the only contention there.
Yeah. And the other thing to keep in mind is that this access flow is really nice for us to help control that public side, but we can still kind of fast track people through with keys. So we're still going to do that for people that meet the key requirements. So, if you're a content creator for Momentumod or something like that, we'll still get you access faster than waiting for us to grant you it. But for sure, if you've been waiting for access here and don't meet any of the key requirements, but still want to play and understand that it is a playtest build, times are going to be wiped for 1.0. We're still in active development here for a while. So just keep that in mind, but you are able to sign up and get access to it. But yeah, it does have to be. It's a shame it has to be a separate app ID. I was hoping to just kind of let it be a button on our like main like game, but whatever. So yeah, cool. Right now it's not even a button at all because Valve's gotta get back to us. But once they do, we'll get that published for you guys, and yeah.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
Maybe it's kind of a bit off topic, but since I'm gonna be localization guy, just keep in mind that there won't be localization in that playtest since
Yeah.
has been set up for the translation. So as much as I'd like to make a Russian localization, at least I just can't because we don't have things to translate. So yeah, you have to play on the English, but I think that's not the issue for Russians. So
yeah. The localization things like that is just like a level of polish that like we're not doing yet, or we haven't done yet, right? Like playtest is not the finished project. People should not go in expecting that. It's not going to be fully localized. Leaderboards are going to be wiped. Like, you know, if you get some omnific no fail, it's not going to stay. Like
Poor Kurt.
Yeah.
Sorry, Kurt.
Sorry, Kurt. Yeah. But yeah, it's still very much work in progress.
Yeah.
There'll be jank. There'll absolutely be bugs. We want people reporting those bugs. That's really useful. But yeah. But anyone that has been playing on 087 lately, just getting by with that, this is a massive step up.
Yes.
It's going to be massive fun doing this. Like we'll have a lot of people in lobbies. Like we'll actually be able to test like the strain on lobbies a fair bit now, and actually have the multiplayer be a good bit more active than it has been.
Yeah, sometimes it's hard to like run around and try to find somebody in a lobby so you could test something that you need to.
Yeah.
This would be nicer.
Yeah. And I think that it's a good middle ground because it's labeled as playtest, it's branded as playtest, so you're not going into it with oh, this is the final thing, right? So that's good at least. And then it's so nice that they added this feature, but not nice that they've they don't allow us to set it public yet. That we can get everybody in because there have been people that have genuinely enjoyed the game in its public releases and understand that it's in playtesting right now, right? So this is kind of rewarding everyone that's kind of stuck by the game and heard about it and wanted to try to give some input before we go wide and loud with the public 1.0 release. So yeah. Okay, so getting a lot of questions in chat and stuff about 1.0, so let's talk about it a bit. So the what's going on with 1.0? We're making great progress. I'm just going to keep saying that every time because we're making excellent progress. It might not be the fastest, most speedy development progress ever, but again, what I was hinting at towards ZM's question there is that you don't really know what's going to get in the way of development. So a lot of what's happened in the past year alone for the game has been we integrated jump modes, we integrated Conc, right? And those are really cool modes and have a ton of community and support around that. So it actually wasn't that much effort. But then Valve got back to us and gave us engine access. So just giving a bit of history, right? I, for the longest time, probably until the start of the development was 2014, until 2019, I didn't really know what I wanted 1.0 to be. Again, I started this project as a surf and bunny hop game, but I didn't really have a plan for what an actual public build and everyone can play it would look like, because at the time I was just kind of figuring shit out, but at a really slow pace, and then school and stuff got in the way. So there was a lot of just uncertainty. But as we started to approach having the dedicated team behind the game and getting more people onboarded with jump, stuff like that, I started to realize what 1.0 should be, and that is the centralization of basically all kick-ass source movement modes in one spot, and offering a platform that makes sense to play on, rather than, oh great, it's just like a standalone bhop server, that's cool, whatever, right? I want 1.0 to be this experience that somebody that has played these modes for as long as they've lived, or somebody that has never even like heard of bunny hop before, could come in and learn and play and have fun and just expand their skills, right, in all of these modes, and enjoy like relics from the past, right? I want it to be the centralized platform for all of these modes. So with it, right, the scope for 1.0 at 2019 expanded to include jump, to include IzzyHoP, to include Conc, right? We were able to add all these modes because we're offering a platform for these things that don't really have them, as well as the don't really have them as like IzzyHoP and Conc, right? Like they're kind of lesser known or older or dead modes. And then the platforms that do have them, improving on the experience found in traditional server-like environments. So, you know, playing any map you want at any time, playing with whoever you want at any time, playing across maps with anyone you want at any time, right? Like chatting with them and stuff. A global progression system, a global leaderboard, a global globalization in terms of localization, right? Like things like that, where we're, you know, improving on every aspect that we can, that makes sense to, and building a platform as opposed to a bhop game. So 1.0's scope grew, right? So obviously delays had to happen there. But then, like further along the line, right, we have, sorry about that notification, I forgot to mute it. Further down the line, we got contacted from Valve, and Valve granted us engine access, and then that doesn't change the scope of what's going to be in 1.0, but how we get there, right? Because now we're on a new engine branch. We have to add backwards compatibility for all of the maps, but now we have the ability to. We had the full like permission from Valve to use basically all of this code that verifies our implementations of all of these modes. We have just this excellent team of developers making really kick-ass features that we couldn't even dream of on the SDK without reverse engineering basically all of the engine, right? Like, and that would have been a monumental task anyway. So one moment, getting a little gravelly.
Shuck, do you want to maybe edit the announcement post to say that the button's not there yet? Because we're getting a lot of questions about the button.
Oh, yeah. Let me do that. I'll do that real quick. Whoops. Sorry about that.
Yeah. Keep in mind that though, even when the button is added, that doesn't immediately get you access, right? You know, that adds you to the sign-up list. Where what am I saying? What am I saying? I lost my train of thought. Whoa! Yes.
Hey! Thank you for the
Coxity.
We got Hammer. Hammer's got a sub now. Let's go.
Well,
Dodge.
Finally. Progress. Redzy got a sub. Redzy's in chat a lot.
Oh yeah. Oh okay, yeah. I edited the thing. There's a note now below. So. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Once Valve gets back to us, I'll ping again. I know you guys love double at everyone's, but yeah. We just wanted to get the news post out there. Yeah. With what's happening.
I genuinely wouldn't be super on edge for the next couple of days about when the button's going to come. Just like it's not likely that like you're going to have you not signing up in the first fucking minute is going to mean you have to wait like another month for it. It might be slightly delayed, but like it's essentially random. It's not Glastonbury tickets or whatever. I wouldn't have that attitude about it. Keep in mind, signing up doesn't then immediately get you access. We then grant out the tickets. Now I think it's Glastonbury. They'll come out in waves, right? So,
yes. Every Saturday. Yep.
No one who doesn't have playtest access already, i.e., existing people with keys.
Yeah.
No one's going to get that until probably after December 4th, right?
Yes.
We're paid every 5 minutes starting now. Yeah. Well, I just don't. I'm saying this just because I don't want to ruin people's weekends.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, once we get confirmation that it's we'll let you know. It's a bit unfortunate timing on our end, but it's okay. We're moving forward with this news. The news is more important than the actual, I guess, button being up, because again, the access granting wasn't going to happen until December anyway, so we still got some time. But yeah, we'll we'll get it there and posted for you guys. Yeah, so I did edit the announcement there. Sorry about that. Anyway, yeah. So I guess back to this. So 1.0, it is being delayed back to an undisclosable date because we don't know like the exact date. But 2022 does feel pretty good. Again, keep in mind, we got contacted from Valve, got onto our new engine, and basically we're basically rewriting all of our UI in the UI framework that we basically want to use now. We didn't want to continue forward with what we had in place because a lot of it, first of all, was pretty old, and and you can probably see that once you get access to the Steam playtest build. It's kind of mishmashed between the two right now, but over time we're going to be, it's going to be a full panorama, beautiful panorama, but then also just all of these excellent features, being able to play CSGO maps, TF2 CSS maps, it's huge. And so 1.0 is still coming. We're not feature creeping the shit out of this release, right? We have, since we got engine access, that was probably the last rescope that actually needed to happen. The only rescoping we can do now is if we get more team members or if people disappear, which I'm hoping the former happens. So we get more developers working on more different things in the engine. So which we did, by the way, get Lumia and Rio licensed. Valve also got back to us on that. They are fully licensed, which means defrag is going to be in 1.0.
We also have quite a few new web developers.
Yes.
Shout out to Ire, shout out to Eskimo.
Yep.
All the
Eskimo
other...
is
a Porter. Yeah, actually. But PBJ.
I mix them up.
Nerdman,
Murgle's been doing great work.
Murgle, yeah.
So web stuff's been really good.
Yes.
Could I just add one thing? Is that it was almost exactly a year ago that the engine rescope happened, right?
Yeah.
In terms of in that time, the stuff that the main things that we've worked on is in the engine moving over and then panorama work, which is a good way along now. Those are massive tasks, and I think probably fair to say larger in scale by a decent amount than the rest of the work we have.
Yeah.
There's sort of more updates coming up, but in terms of changing engine is a massive thing and took months of work, and then panorama is an enormous thing and has taken months of work. And zone refactor, replay refactor, that stuff, they're big jobs, they are milestones, but they're not necessarily on those scales, right? So
yeah, and I mean we're slowly it's weird because we have sub teams that are doing different things, right? So Slidey and SL on the team are working on DX11 and rendering, and also miscellaneous features related to that. So things like supersized screenshots, which we're going to need for taking pictures of maps from in-game, as well as maybe even cube map, asynchronous cube map rendering, which will hopefully shrink the size of maps down to pretty small sizes, and then when you first boot the map, we generate the cube maps in the background. Things like that we're looking into that are significantly important for the future of the game. So a lot of those things might feel like feature creep, but they're actually extremely essential now that we have access to the game here. And in traditional sense, feature creep is all right, well, we have these modes, but we could add I don't know, what is it? We could focus just
game
on
mode mixing.
Parkour or game mode mixing. That would be fun. But instead of looking at 1.0 doesn't need that. 1.0 needs the core systems in place, and enough of that, enough game mode and content in it to make it worthwhile. So that's what all of the extra added modes are. And
I do.
Yeah.
I have to add that I think it is quite a common perception that the reason that the momentum hasn't come out yet is because we've been spending time on Conc, for instance. That is just definitively not the case.
True.
It's maybe sort of 20% of the time. I mean, I guess if you include some of the game mode abstraction work that took place during the engine,
which needed to happen anyway.
Which needed to happen anyway, right?
Yeah.
the adding Conc, for instance, that's not like the whole team goes off working on that. The stuff like the core infrastructure work like Panorama are jobs of like, you know, a order of magnitude larger than game mode stuff. So like, you know, if you're a surfer thinking, oh, momentum's not coming out because they've spent all their time getting jump in or something, or getting Conc in, or AHOP to GOC an evening. That is just unequivocally not the case, right? It's if we were to go and, you know, start putting loads of time into parkour and climb, which is something where I think a lot of the main devs do want to work on that. You know, GOC has run Titanfall 2 and stuff, and I'm sure wants to do work on parkour. We're not doing that until after 1.0, because that would be feature creep. That would be us taking time on modes that is stopping the people who want to play the, you know, other modes from playing the game. That's not what we're doing. The infrastructure is like by far the most major thing, which is doing web work, is UI work, it's doing general timer stuff and replay stuff.
Yeah, the like new modes like weren't even really coded by anyone like
time in review
specifically on the team. It was a lot of Hat Kid, and I think Larry added rocket jump, and then Hat Kid added
Sticky
like initial
jump.
sticky jump, and then Conc. So it really didn't take very much time from dev work.
And so, I mean, with all of that, right, we know what 1.0 needs to have. It's not a mystery anymore. It's not me dicking around until 2019 anymore, right? Like, it is, we know specifically what we want. And now we have basically everything in place to go and execute on it. It's just a matter of time. And now that time is free time divided among every single person that's licensed to work on the game, right? So that's the other thing, is we did restrict who can work on the game because we have to. It's on, you know, the code we're given is Valve property, but we're allowed to use it under our NDA license. But yeah. Oh, is there an ad playing right now? Sorry, we can't control that. Try to find an ad block if you can. Ads fucking suck. Run an ad right when we announce. That would have been a better choice.
Do it when I'm talking, and then like people can actually listen to.
So anyway, the 1.0 release date 2022 feels good. It does, because realistically, what we have left, and I'm going to wait. I thought I took a pic. Oh, that was in our previous one. That was in the previous one. My bad. I mixed up the Q&As. The September Q&A, I had the 3 columns of what's left. The leftmost column is what's left for 1.0. It is porting over to Panorama, which we're effectively like the porting, right, is converting all of the panels over initially, maybe rewriting some of the internal logic, and then stylizing, which you've seen a lot of Tom's work on this channel doing the stylizing, right? So
that doesn't slow us down because I'm not engine licensed for the other stuff anyway, so
right. So a lot of it is just kind of queuing it up for that. So we're making great progress. And then the other thing to point out is that we have GitHub project boards that show what's required, what's left for a specific version. And you probably, if you're in the Discord, saw a ton of cards getting closed, because those are things that we've just recently pushed that fixed a ton and were confirmed fix for a ton of things. And so now it's like down to under like 20 cards left. So we're making excellent progress, and we're trying to do our best to make sure it's public so that you guys are aware. And in the meantime, right, the playtest build, sticking with us in the Discord for updates on like what I'm pushing, right, for the builds, things like that. Like that's kind of what the journey to 1.0 will look like. The playtest build, I guess I'll add here, is only going to be available until 1.0, because obviously the game's free. So once we release, we just deactivate the playtest, and then you go and get the actual game. It'll be a fresh slate anyway, so perfect timing, I guess. So that's the thing, is that's all that's left. Like, we have Panorama port, the zone refactor, a replay refactor to support all of the new modes, cosmetic learn, anti-cheat related stuff, things like that. Those are just kind of the things that are left, and those will be broken down, and you'll see specifically what people are working on more in our GitHub project boards. It's really hard to scope out because it's really easy to group everything together as like, oh yeah, port to Panorama, right? Like, but like there's so much work that could be involved with that. So yeah, it's kind of hard to convey it, but we are making great progress. And that's hopefully what these Q&A streams are showing. Every time when we show some gameplay, which we're going to do after we're done through here. And yeah, I'm hoping that people don't get the idea that we're just goofing around, that we don't know what we're doing, which by the way, we don't know what we're doing. This is the first time we're ever making a game, like this. So yeah, for the most part, we are very sure that now with Engine Access, all these features in place, laser focus, right, we'll be able to deliver. And if not, we'll be able to explain exactly why and why not. Because that's the other thing. You guys deserve transparency. So, especially when it comes to that. So
it's been frustrating the last month not being able to tell anyone about feature stuff because we've been waiting to announce this.
Yeah. We've been surprised. This playtest build, it was actually on SteamDB since Sunday, and nobody found out. Nobody found out.
I found out near the end.
Oh, we did?
They did find out.
Yeah. Well, they found out.
Gokman, can I, there's a question in the chat. Can I read it?
Yeah, sure. What's up? What's the question?
200 ask, out of curiosity, are there any plans of monetizing outside Open Collective in the long run? He has no idea if that's stated everywhere.
Okay. So, did you want to answer that, or do you want me to answer it?
I mean, I wanted to answer it from the musician perspective.
Yeah.
Since since we actually didn't think it a lot about the music, because there's a lot of stuff. We can use Steam to sell it. We can use the different sites. Personally, for me, I didn't think about yet a lot, because
we can sell soundtrack.
Yeah, the soundtrack will be sold. You can buy it if you want, but everything else is 100% free.
Yeah.
So yes.
Yeah. Just mainly asking for infra, how are we going to keep the infrastructure alive? And I don't know if you want to talk about what you kind of told us privately about that, what the Open Collective is strictly for and things like that.
Yeah, the intention for setting up the Open Collective and Twitch affiliate and all of that is to collect money specifically for the team. The infrastructure, I don't know what the cost will be, because I mean, I could probably go into a calculator and estimate it, on AWS or something. But the idea is that we are going to try to take advantage of however many free tiers or whatever we can get, because there are times where we might not even hit past the free tier of things, if we do things right. So when it comes to paying for infrastructure, I'm going to be paying out of pocket a lot for it because I believe in this project. I don't know how big the project will get. I don't want to dip into the team's money for it, mainly because I want that money to go towards improving the team and our hardware and our processes there, software licenses, things like that we need for development on the game. So for the most part there, the donations would be towards the team, but it is a pool, right? It would be kind of queued up until we need to use it. And if it gets unbearable, I'm sure if it gets unbearable, first of all, we'd probably scale back on what we're doing. We'd probably rate limit more. We'd probably, we'll put realistic things in check. We wouldn't just dry up all of our money and be like, what could we have done? We would realistically look at what's happening. I want to put enough metrics in place to understand what's costing so much. Probably bandwidth in the end, but what doesn't?
It'll be bandwidth.
It'll be bandwidth. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But for the most part, yeah, it's gonna just be playing it by ear, seeing how far we can get with the platforms that we're choosing to go with, and then relatively what's realistic, right? What's realistic for these things? Should we not be sending a billion SQL queries to this database instead of just one, or things like that. Monitoring what's actually being called a ton, things like that, and a lot of platforms have those metrics, so you can very easily tell, oh shit, everyone's fucking like requesting all of the times, we should probably limit that. Like things like that. So I don't know, it is a scary prospect because it is a free-to-play game, right? So there's not a direct return that we get, but we're also hoping that with the game growing, more people decide to financially support the team, and if we get so much financial compensation there, it could be used to help pay for it. Again, I genuinely don't want people to donate to the team pool and then just immediately dry it up and be like, there's, can't get anyone on the team anything because the server cost is $6,000 a minute. So, yeah.
Someone made a good comment about longevity of the game and long-term stuff. Definitely, as stuff settles down and we know we can start. Right now, it's very, very hard to make informed guesses and estimates about player numbers, and any calculations we make are essentially sort of back of the envelope calculations, right?
Yeah.
In terms of server costs and things. When that settles down more, we'll be able to get a much clearer picture of the kind of money required for what level of server infrastructure, and definitely start thinking about the long term and how we can ensure stuff can last in the long term. It doesn't get to the point where it's taking an immense amount of work to sort of keep the right amount of donations going and stuff, and that like it's something that could just immediately sort of disappear off the face of the planet.
Yeah,
definitely just avoiding that sort of thing, getting to the point of just financial stability, and that's something that I personally think we're pretty likely to be able to do, because I think people realizing that this is a free game that we've spent a vast amount of time working on, and that it's really good and worth donating for and keeping running through donations. If that, I think we'll probably be able to get it in a stable spot. And the fact we're in this position of being incredibly anal about our server efficiency, stuff like that, is really good for that, because if we're taking donation money that's going into server costs, we are then spending that money very, very, very well. And not wasting money, because it's easy to just spaff away money on server stuff, right? But,
especially AWS. In which case, we're not actually in AWS's sphere at all right now. We're currently we're currently looking into various things. Like Cloudflare has a storage solution R2 coming out that is basically what we want. No egress, and it's just build based on how much storage you actually use. So that might honestly be the route that we take there. But we'll see, right? Like Cloudflare's been really nice for our project, for as much as we're able to get out of it. They host our front end for us completely now. Like our back end's the only thing that actually needs a dedicated machine, and even then, if we wanted to, we go go serverless or whatever. But the main thing is scalability, being able to handle the influx, but then also even out. And so being able to have a response to that, and then just setting a spending limit and making sure that we're monitoring what's happening. I think we'll be able to reasonably run momentum. The other thing to keep in mind is that we do also have more on Steam at our disposal than we are currently handling. Like we could ship maps with the game, if you think about it, technically, right? Steam would handle distribution for the maps. We could put all of your replays in Steam Cloud, and you have 50 gigabytes of Steam Cloud, so we could use that to distribute replays. So storage, for example, could be handled there, but when it comes to verifying runs and stuff like that, we would still need to handle it. So that's probably where a lot of the fun bandwidth related costs will come. I don't think our API is going to be too bad. I mean, there's systems built for scaling that kind of stuff, so it is one of my first projects like this, so I am a little spooked by it too, but it'll be fun. I think it'll be fun to just figure it all out, figure out the best path forward. I mean, I don't know if people have similar experience to launching a game that doesn't have like it has a dedicated service, but it doesn't have dedicated servers, if that makes sense. We don't have like multiplayer game servers we need to host. We have just the API, the SQL, the storage buckets, basically. Like that's it. We use Steam for authentication, so that's handled. Like, so there's like, I don't know. We're relying on a lot of services at our disposal first, and then building it to be scalable out from there. So a lot of these like serverless like SQL stuff have a free tier and scale out. But anyway, yeah. Multiplayer lobbies are completely through Steam.
Yep.
Completely through Steam.
We do a lot through Steam.
Yeah, but we can't do everything. So we could do Workshop, but Workshop doesn't have any moderation. So, and then people can update files through Workshop at any time. So it's like, we don't want that. We want to have a little more control over what the final version of a map will be.
Things like our infrastructure fee, like replays and like the map selector, stuff like that. That really has to be done for us, right? Because we need a level of control that you just cannot get through Steam.
Yeah.
And so, currently we distribute all the maps through our servers. Some maps we can probably move over to Steam. There's a bunch we can do. But, yeah.
So, yeah. Okay, so I think we had a couple more. Yeah, okay. The last part of this, right? You guys probably just heard us like talk all about that. How can I help? Other than donate to us, right? Like financially, right? There's nothing you can really do. Our agreement with Valve is that we are a completely free to play game. We're not granting any in-game bonuses. We can't have microtransactions. We don't have the economy like tab on Steamworks. Like we can't make money directly from the game. So if you like what we're doing enough to send a couple bucks our way or something, you can. Through our open collective, subscribing on here, bits on here. It all goes into the same account, supports the team. The other aspect too is that we do have the forum. So if you want to actually physically like help us with the game, we do have open slots on the team. We appreciate any and all help. We need more web devs. We can appreciate all of this help that we can get. Artists, mappers, we need them all. So we do. It's in the announcements. Obviously, I didn't link it on the slides here, but it is in our Discord server in the announcements. It's in the blog post as well, accompanying this news. So feel free to apply, being part of this kick-ass team, making a kick-ass game. Translators are coming. So that's actually a very good point. I was actually just about to get to it. So other than joining the team and like helping out directly through any of those roles, we also have so there's like 3 more avenues. So there's map zoning and porting, which is just a matter of waiting until 0.10. So requesting playtest access or just, waiting in line there for that. 0.10, we will kind of open the floodgates to like, okay, basically if you have a map and you want to help like port it, we'll have a coordination like team member that'll help coordinate this, but ideally we'll just have the list of maps and you can just pick one and help zone it and like note what's wrong with it or something like that. Any little bit of help towards map porting and like getting maps ready, that will significantly help us, because then 1.0 can have a plethora of maps. The other part of that, number 2, is translations. So asked in chat literally just like 5 seconds ago. Translations, we are waiting for Panorama to be basically in place. We're finishing that up now. So after like 0.92, we're going to start to open the game more up for translators to come in, translate the game, and verify that the panels look good with the translations on them. So making sure there's not anything clipping or anything like that. So that's like another great way to help out directly. And then the third one, and this is probably what a lot of you have been doing, either subconsciously or not, spreading word of the game, letting people know about us, because we're not marketing the game at all. We don't have really the biggest advertising budget or anything, but just telling somebody that you might think would care about the game about it. Telling friends and family, like letting people know, because that could also cascade down of they might not care or whatever, but they could tell somebody that does, and then those people tell somebody that does, and it could go out and get people involved with the team that we would have otherwise never have reached. And this extends to team membership roles. This extends to map porting and stuff like that. This extends to content creation for the game. People, you know, that have audiences that could put us in front of, basically a pyramid scheme. Just you don't get anything out of it. There's no promise of money or anything. You guys are just actually doing a lot of grunt work for us of spreading the word. So that's it would be. We would love people to have experience with setting up cloud infrastructure. I've learned a lot through just reading like different websites about like
complicated, though.
it's very complicated.
Can I flex a bit that I did advertise Momentum mod for like BK audience?
Oh yeah, on BK, yeah.
For those who don't know, I did Momentum mod logo charm, custom charm for a weapon for Payday 2.
For Payday 2, yeah.
So yeah, even Payday players know that Momentum exists.
Yeah, and that's another great example too. Like if you guys want to, you can make effectively fan art for your favorite games that allow it, and just like submit stuff there so people are also subconsciously aware of our game too. So that, I mean, that's the main thing, is like, just if you don't have any, you know, technical skills, or don't, you know, can't offer the time or anything like that, it's understandable. And we would just really appreciate you just spreading word of the game, just telling people about it. If you've bhopped with, or somebody that's seen bhop videos or something, I don't know, like, so that's probably the best way you could help without getting directly involved, I guess, with the project itself. And then also donating to the team. Cool. My voice is shot. I've talked so long.
I need water.
I'm almost out of water. That's how much I've been fucking talking.
Like an hour.
I need to make a cup of coffee.
However, what we'll do, we'll play a little bit of the game. We got some stuff to show off. We did promise. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Let me get over into the game.
I need to.
Oh boy!
Well, you're gonna show up settings in a sec. I need to run to the toilet.
All right.
Let's take like a 2-minute break. Come on, we could do.
Yeah, we could take a 2-minute break. Yeah.
Talk about like
play Conc.
Yeah, I'll play some Conc for 2 minutes. We'll do that. Let me get the game going. Hold on. Yeah, again, apologies about the button not showing up. I genuinely don't know. I genuinely don't know why it's not visible. Like we're waiting for Valve to get back to us on that. It should be up soon. Like it's not. We're not bait and switching you or anything. Like we genuinely want the button up. It just wasn't up in time.
We kind of was hoping. Right?
Yeah, I probably should have like checked a long time ago, but that would have again, it requires like publishing the playtest to actually like verify it. So like that was scary because I didn't want it to publish and like everyone be like, "What the fuck is this?" and like ruin the surprise. But so again, apologies about that. But yeah, what's the latest? Local files, upload that. Yeah, that shit's good. Okay, let me get. Thank you, Oxide. How's everybody doing? Soon tomorrow, we'll see. Steam's pretty good about getting back to us really quickly. So we'll actually see how long it takes. But all right, so this is gameplay plus webcams.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. And then we'll get Happy back in place here. Nope, that's the wrong element. Move you down. Once Tom gets back, we'll be there. Oh yeah, and then this is the release build, so it's 1440p. Let me get that going. Game capture could honestly go below, I think.
Can I not play Conc, please? I'm a filthy casual. I need rocket jumping in my life.
Yeah, you can. The beauty of Momentum, Happy, is you can play whatever you want. Okay, cool. So yeah, we just recently pushed the latest code, so quite a couple of changes. This is the white background, by the way. You can change this. I'll go into settings and do that soon. But yeah, so you can now collapse the news stuff, if we'll have other panels here that are gonna take up space there. Yeah, so I guess showing off the map selector, if Misfit is here, this is the map selector. So in game, to play the game, you just hit that button up there, and you got every single map you'd ever want right here, ready for playing. So yep. And it shows you tier. You can filter. I'm not going to, because there's actually a crash right now that we're gonna fix. We have the fix for it. We just gotta push it. But yeah, so yeah, this is the in-game map selector here. You can filter by game type. You can filter by tiers. You can sort by. We'll have different types of sorting. We'll default to the most recent maps released as well. So if I do that, you can see IzzyHoP Drift, one of the most recent maps there. And so this is the Panorama UI, part of that Panorama UI port. For those that have seen the old UI, the old stinky VGUI implementation of everything. Yeah, it's basically, it looked like the server browser, but with maps. So this is way more fleshed out. Yeah, and so here are the tabs, by the way. So ranked maps, the ones you earn rank points for. Unranked maps have their own tabs here. And then maps that need testing, beta testing will be here too. So, and then, playlists coming soon, but the idea is in this play tab, you'll be able to create lists of maps that you can play in a row across any game mode, right? It's all set up, pre-configured by you. Those are coming eventually as well.
How much did you off?
So yeah, I didn't show off settings.
This is for the description being broken, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. The description and authors and tags and stuff are broken right now, mainly because we're changing how we want the data to get represented in this panel. So they're broken right now. But next push,
we want to show the authors better and show like more map credits. So if you put like credited someone for textures and stuff, it can show up in there.
Yeah.
Or like little things. And have you shown off the leaderboards?
Oh yeah, that's right. So IzzyHoP Drift. So if I want to see, world records 1 minute and 8 seconds, I can click this leaderboards button down here. And now you can see all of the top 10 times. You can see times around your run if you've done one, and then all of your friends' times as well. So that'll be one click. You can see it pretty easily there. You also have all of your local runs you've done. If you don't have any, they don't show up. So whatever. But let me go to one that so like here for Everfast, I've done 3 runs. Here are my runs. And so the idea here is that you can also see, I think I've downloaded some. No, I don't. Let me go to alphabetical, because IzzyHoP Coast is up here. So I've also downloaded runs, and here are runs that of people's runs. Here are the files that I've downloaded. Those show up locally here too. So and then you can see the lobby tab. Yeah, I did show this off in the last Q&A stream. So let's go ahead. I'm not going to search it. It's broken. So let me do speed whip. But I'm going to go ahead and join Braze Lobby. So now that I'm in Braze Lobby, which by the way is our menu drawer, you can join lobbies at any point in time in the game. They're hosted by Steam, so they don't even hit our servers or anything. And yeah, you can chat in the menu. And yeah, it's pretty cool. Yep, and Cup's joining here. So now if I go into the lobby tab here, which now shows up, I can now see everybody's time in the lobby. I don't have a PB, so I don't show up, but everybody that has a time in the map in your lobby shows up. So you can filter by lobby times there. Yeah.
It's a bit off topic, but I think I've broke my camera and it doesn't show up on the stream.
Again?
Oh man.
Yes.
Damn, that sucks.
It's bad luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, my camera don't like to be used, I guess.
So now,
yeah, stuff we're gonna improve a little bit.
Yeah. The this tab is still work in progress. We still want to show the number of people in your lobby on this button here. That's something to add in the future.
I'll
but
tomorrow, probably.
When you're in, you can see what people are playing. We're going to have the ability to right click and join them, so you can go and it'll open the map selector if you don't have the map and be like, do you want to download this map to join them?
Yeah, the join button will show up.
Yeah, you can join people there. You can also browse lobbies while you're in a lobby. If there were more created, we could show that, but that's fine. So the idea is that you can kind of you can just browse other lobbies if you're in a boring one or something. So yeah, you can invite people as well. But
So
anyway,
how people playing different maps in the same lobby work is a really good question, right? So
yes.
if you're in the same lobby, you can chat with them, right? Everyone can be in the same lobby, whatever map, whatever game mode. If they're on the same map as you, then we start networking in their position data, or that you see them as a player. You can even spec them. Standard multiplayer stuff, right?
Yeah.
You can't shoot them, interact with them. That doesn't work because it's just not as you want the game to be.
Yeah.
If you're in the map, yeah, you spec them. You can play around with them. And I guess if we're booting up the map selector anyway, we should just booting up a map. We can show off the leaderboards in game as well.
Yeah. So the leaderboards in game here, when you press tab, it shows up, and then you can let go of tab and it'll, reshow there. But you can right click to gain access to like actually clicking and like viewing, watching replays and stuff. I'm not gonna watch one in Conc because they don't.
It's just let's jump.
Yeah.
Let's jank.
Yeah. And so so you can see lobby times here, and then the people involved with creating the map, we've actually added a way to see like their Steam profile here, and then there's some stats here. Some dog. Oh yeah, okay. Well, no, Steam doesn't.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or OBS doesn't show that.
You can have like a bunch of people as authors here, and it will like make a scroll bar and stuff.
Yeah. And so the entity panels are a little busted too. They're supposed to normally show the name of the person as you look at them, but they're weird. they'll be fixed though. But yeah, so this is Conc. This is concussion grenade boosting from Team Fortress Classic. I think it also exists in some capacity in TF2, like plugin. But yeah, the idea is that you kind of throw these grenades and jump into them, and they boost you up and around the map.
My settings are so scuffed right now because I've been working on settings.
Oh yeah, and we'll go into that in a bit too.
Can I just say, and if you'll have like free time, can you try to enable my camera again?
Oh, did you reconnect? Yeah, I'll have to manually do that. If you reconnect it, I'll have to do that.
Yeah, I did.
Conc is an extremely fun game mode. As you can tell, I'm having a blast. Pun totally intended. But yeah, it's kind of an interesting mix between sticky jump, right? And just throwing rocks, I guess. Interesting mix, but it's like, yeah. And then you can get people rocket jumping on the map, because the way that it works is ghosts are networked, but they're locally. So like it's zero ping in the sense that there's no, like, we don't synchronize our games here. We synchronize when you're getting like the packets, and we make sure they're in order roughly. But the idea is that your game is your haven, right? Like it's like the online multiplayer aspect doesn't actually need to be synchronized, because again, we're not trying to shoot each other here, right? We don't care if someone's a second ahead of you or something in the server time. It doesn't matter. But that means that they could do whatever they want. They could do rocket jump on the map. They could do, and I'll show off some spectating here. So yeah, like I could be playing Conc and somebody else could be playing rocket jump on the same map, even though it is different settings, right? And that's just how this works. And so and so the idea is that it doesn't matter that we're not synchronized. They're here and they're not going to affect your game in any way other than, rockets. And we'll also have like the weapon view models, obviously, because you're cosmetics and stuff, right? So we'll get that in place when we get there. But yeah, like you're able to just watch whatever you want. So like I could also watch somebody actually. Oh, this is part of parkour.
Yeah. the spectating's pretty clean. There'll be more delay than you might be used to on a server.
Yeah.
Like it might be, about 500 ping at times, something like that, which is, great, but it's okay. Like you only really notice it when like talking to someone in voice, right?
Yeah.
And even then, it's really not that bad. Like we do it a lot, and it's fine. And keep in mind, no one's hosting their own server here. Right? This is all just done through Steam.
This is all through Steam.
For server hosting, this is anyone can put this lobby up, put a public lobby up, and do this.
Yep. There's no VIP. There's nothing like that. It's everybody.
No admin slapping you.
Yeah. Slapping you as you conk it.
Yeah.
And obviously, some of the HUD elements, like the timer and things like that, aren't networked yet. We're getting there. It's just slowly things over time.
Yeah. This spec UI is bad.
Yeah.
It's UI. We've not done spec UI yet. It's sort of one of the few big things to port over we've got left.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to working on this actually. So these like weird looking arrows and the big X button on the top right, that's going away soon.
Yeah. But yeah, and you can see inputs in the bottom right. Those are actually their inputs. I'm not pressing anything, right? So we network inputs so that you can see how exactly to do something. If you have a friend or some mentor showing you, this will be helpful for Jump Academy-like things. Being able to see not only this in replays, but also live, seeing how you can do it.
They're going to be arrows, but they'll just look like shit. The spec arrows.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. And honestly, I can't wait because once the playtest, gets further and further along with like more and more people getting access, I'm excited to see like all the public lobbies. I wanted to note here that this lobby is a hosted lobby, which means it was manually created. We'll actually have another multiplayer option called roaming lobbies, which is if you're not in a lobby at all, what we'll do is when you go into a map, we'll look for a specifically hosted public lobby that's called a roaming lobby, and it exists almost as like this sort of Journey-esque sort of multiplayer state of like you're only in a lobby for as long as you're on the map, but you get to meet people that are playing that map. You can opt out at any time. You can turn it off. Obviously, we want you to be able to be as private as you want because it is a single player game, right? You don't have to have other people, but we don't want the game to feel so lonely in that regard. Like you can have a roaming lobby and just roam around with people. And
in practice, it's less lonely because like you're always able to like play with whoever you want.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not like if you want to play with a friend, like it's immediately doable. You don't need to find a server that's like on a map you both want to play or whatever. So.
Yeah. All the rocket jumpers are just going right past Ark here. Yeah.
We were talking about this map. Did you mention this map at all earlier? We were saying, so this is a map that I'm working on. This is the map that I am manually repositioned every brush because it's ported over from Gold Source, like old version of a precursor to the Source engine, but like a different engine. And I had to move every fucking brush around and like reorganize everything. So everything's sort of manually done. And I've had these big ambitions for like styling this for ages now. And I've not really had time, especially because I've been working on Panorama so much. So this map is going to be very pretty in the future. Assuming that Eddie of Doom, if we can get him to connect with this person, is still happy with it. But yeah, lobbies can be public and private. You have an option. I mean, you can show it off, like if you go to like, create lobby and show the.
I'm not the owner. I think Bray is.
Yeah, but go to like the lobby page and just like go to create and.
That's right. Yeah, create.
Yeah.
And so when you go to create a lobby, you can create it completely publicly, which means it shows up in this browse. You can create it for friends only, which means it shows up in the browse if you're a friend with them, or you can make it invite only, which doesn't show up in this list at all until you get invited, and then it'll show if you're in it. And then max player count goes up to 250, and. Obviously, we have not stress tested that. We have no idea what it's going to do. It'll be kind of funny to see 250 people on a map. But that's part of the playtest as well. That's something that we're going to be looking forward to trying out. Oh, come on. That was so close. I forgot the timing for this. But, yes, it uses peer-to-peer actually for everything. So we don't actually have any hosted servers or anything. There we go. Easy. First try. You can notice my timer says 7 minutes. You can actually spectate while in a run. And the timer will still keep going, but it allows you to see how to kind of do, especially for new players, how to do a specific part of a map. Yeah, we were having fun. Traz made that iOS mock-up just as a meme, and we're like, it'd be really funny. If we made the big news, the fact that we're we're going mobile only.
I wasn't really reading chat as I was like announcing it, and I want to go back and see what people actually said in chat.
yeah, me too. That'll actually be really fun to.
Estimates defrag's not really in yet. It's close. We'll have some initial defrag stuff in really soon.
Yes.
Lumia's only had engine access for a couple of weeks now. Lumia's been
like only a week. Yeah, like literally
only
a week.
Yeah.
It's really recent. There is a branch open.
Case, but
Yeah. there is a branch open to add it, and we will get it in, but it's just a matter of when they get free time, when Lumia gets some free time to address some concerns in the code. We do code reviews, and we run CI, continuous integration for every build, or for every branch, rather. My apologies. Every single like code change we want to make is like tested, and then for some that require manual testing, we manually test it, which is, we got to find out a better way to do that, because it's a little hard to test some of the features before shipping, because we don't know like what graphic settings people are gonna have. So for the most part, a lot of, if the build's broken and crashing, that's probably, just like a side effect of it, you know, of development, of just, we're getting there. There we go. Oh fuck, so close, so close.
I'm looking forward to going in and touching up some of the HUD stuff a little bit. There's still like a few tiny little issues with like some of the shadows on some of the HUD UI. I've not had a chance to touch all that stuff yet.
Yeah.
God, the shadows on this map is so nice.
Yeah, I know, right? CSM is so good.
This is,
Oh, I'm not in DX11. I forgot to boot up in it. My apologies there. We've definitely been doing. I mean, CSM doesn't work in it, but we've been doing a ton of work. Specifically, Slidey Bat and SL have been doing a ton of work to get DX11 basically 1-to-1 with DX9 in terms of what's rendered. Damn, that was so close.
Those guys are incredible. Like the
also, what is
the Slidey and SL do is like so impressive.
Yeah.
You got Gok and Breyer on here, who are both licensed devs, and I think Lumi has been around in chat. We also had Rio, which we just brought on.
Yes. Yep.
But the people who aren't here, so BLT, Slidey, and SL. BLT has been doing loads of Panorama work lately, which has been like, it's amazing like how fast BLT can be with some stuff. And then Slidey and SL, like what those two have managed to achieve with stuff like DX11, something that like even Valve hasn't bothered to do. Like DX11 came out in like 2008, and Source still doesn't use it. It's been around for so long, and Valve just like never did the upgrade. And the
Suddenly
fact that Slidey can do it is just it's like
it's incredible. Incredible work, yeah.
But also the because Portal CE just brought on some new people as devs. And
four new developers.
4 new devs,
yeah.
Who have also already been doing some really cool work, including some work on Hammer, which we'd love to see. I'm just stealing all the stuff you said earlier, Gok, and just saying it myself.
So good.
Because of Chaos, the changes that benefit us like mutually. We get in momentum, right? So the positive changes that they make to Chaos, we get, and vice versa. So yeah, we've got stuff to look forward to there as well.
Too early. Damn, I keep going too early.
I love how we always end up playing this map on stream for some reason.
It's so good. I love Conc.
It is a great map. This.
I love it. I love it.
Whenever I get the time to actually make this map look good, I can't wait.
Damn.
It's also one of the few like OG like momentum maps that's like actually beatable, not too sick.
Well, I love these like maps like Speed and Speed 2 where it's like 20-30 stages or whatever and like doable. It's just so fun. I love how many details there are here as well. It's ridiculous.
I really hope aux will finish bhop aux. Really good.
Could we add a key in the keybinder options for clear decals?
We could.
Because I use that in CS even, where it's not as big a deal.
In my head.
Where I just have like my V key. I think we'll just clear all like blood spatters and stuff in CS:GO. But so we're not on DX11 currently. We could be, and it's pretty stable. It's not going to be visually super different. DX11, like, we can write new shaders in DX11 that we couldn't do on DX9, right? Because, you get access to a bunch more. A lot of it right now is performance improvements and just stability and like better schools, full screen stuff, and so there's like a lot of minor things, improvements now. Once it's really stable, like it'll definitely be. You should use DX11 over DX9. Like it's got.
We're actually going to default it. We'll have DX9 as a backup launch option, but we'll actually be defaulting to DX11 once CSM and MSAA are both implemented. Those are the two that Slidey's kind of like the big to-dos left.
CSM sounds fun.
Oh yeah.
Valve
Especially
has before in like blog posts of like how much effort it was for them to get CSM working. So.
No, it was Rich Gell's tweets.
Oh,
I think,
right, okay.
specifically.
Oh, that was it, yeah.
Yeah. I keep throwing the second one priming the second one too early.
I should say one thing on screen that's going to be changing soon. These arms. This hasn't been mentioned, right?
True that, yeah.
So currently False, who has spent, I think, better part of like 2 months now, working on the player model, and has been doing some really amazing modeling work, where it's like, he'll spend like a week working on like the fingers and stuff. Like it's really like impressive how patient he's being with it. So we put a lot of work is going into that player model. But they're not just in terms of the actual mesh, but in terms of texturing, rigging, and animation. We've got Vortex and Spring Scale working on it as well. So we've got some pretty ambitious but like very realizable goals for the player model and how we're going to animate it, where it's going to impress people a lot. Like,
wait, can you just
what we can do with it?
Yeah, can you just single conc this?
Yeah.
Have I just been? Oh my god. Okay.
It's harder. It's harder.
Yeah, it is hard.
It's kind of sad that nobody's talking about music.
Well, I mean, that is a good point, because we do want to have music, but it's going to mainly be in the campaign, which is like so far out that like we don't want to like start spoiling it too much. But yeah, we will have music, original soundtrack, and that is one of the ways. Happy did answer this earlier, just reiterating for those that didn't hear it. The soundtrack will be sold. That is one of the merch, if you were, that's one of the things we're going to sell, that the artists working on the, so close. The artists working on the soundtrack can actually get paid for that. And then our merch, we would love to actually have traditional like momentum merch. Yeah. Yep, we are having a campaign. It's going to have some original maps, some original story, original music. It's going to be fantastic. It's going to be a guided tutorial as well. We will have the learn section. I keep doing that too early.
Yeah. Is that the real false underscore?
Campaign is, it's a really ambitious set of goals we've got for campaign, but it's something where I think we're approaching it pretty realistically at the moment and have like it's a big project, but we've got a lot of really exciting ideas for campaign.
I needed to show it off because
oh great,
I keep forgetting to. Yeah.
Can I introduce it then?
Yeah, it is your baby.
My baby, yeah, exactly. Yeah, so we ported the settings page as one of the first things with Panorama. I was just never a particularly big fan of it. Was the layout overall, but also a lot of it was just too similar to CS:GO. Because we basically took the CS:GO settings page and did restyled some stuff, but a lot of things that were too similar, and it wasn't very nicely sort of layouted, and space wasn't used very efficiently. Like we were wasting a lot of horizontal space. So I ended up basically redoing it all. So changing a ton of styling, writing a bunch of like JavaScript functionality stuff, like things just like updating the left nav thing as it's scrolling between the things that will like update the thing you actually have selected. A lot of little stuff like that. But also just aiming to make something pretty decent looking but very functional. Where if you press the top little plus button by the right of input box, you'll see you get the full nav. So if you want to see all of our settings in one place, you can see it all here. It's something where we really can bung a lot of customization in here, and hopefully not overwhelm people too much. Instead of tooltips, we now have this system on the right, which includes even like showing the convar of what you're changing. So if you want to do stuff in console, you can. And you can just like reference the convar from there. I think there's a lot of quality of life stuff that hopefully people appreciate. And yeah, just aiming for something sort of clean and usable. And settings pages is quite often sort of overlooked, I think, by UI devs. And yeah, even the docs page, you can go and click a link that will open your Steam to actually the docs page for that thing. So if there's a bunch of extra information about that convar, you can see it there. Oh, you won't see it on stream.
Yeah, it opened a Steam internet tab basically. Yep.
Yeah. We can search for it. In CS:GO, it will give you an error.
Yeah.
I think that will be pulled in very soon. It's
I'm
not even really a one-line fix. It's moving a fix. Or you can type something in there, just press ignore, and it will be.
Oh, okay, cool. So I'll do.
It's completely functional.
There we go.
You want to do one more push before playtest goes live?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I could definitely get in like the ghost entity panel.
The playtest itself won't be live for like the new playtesters right until the 4th or so, right? So,
yeah. Yep.
But yeah, no, I hope people like this. A lot of it is the speedometer's coming in soon, which Bray has been doing a ton of work on, which
speedometer settings,
speedometer settings. Sorry, speedometer's in. Settings are coming soon, so that will be appearing in the speedometer bit. That's been, probably about as much work as like after maybe this whole settings page. Like the amount of Bray's on the speedometer, it seems it's very configurable. Yeah, hopefully people like the new styling of it. There's a few things like the color picker thing doesn't look great, or the color picker like option thingy. C-tap bind. Yeah. You have a decent amount of control with scripting, but we don't allow the wait command. That's sort of a pretty good way of limiting scripts that are just too powerful, and things that are just convenient. Where you might want the wait command, we aim to like have that through like existing like functionality. I kind of, even though I use the console constantly, I still use the console to quit the game. It's just a habit with Source. I will open the console and type quit. It's ridiculous, but I'll do it. I appreciate that like a lot of people do want to use the console for everything. It still really is important that to me that the settings page actually is people do want to use it, and like I've gotten used to I've been using the key binders now. I no longer type like bind key the thing, like, because it's quick and easy to navigate to, and I'll just use the search to like get to the specific key I want, because I can just type that in the search. Because I've been working on settings and just click random buttons all the time, like every time I actually want to play the game, I then have to like reconfigure everything. So I've been using it a lot. There's one other important thing I wanted to say. The last thing, and the thing that I've been asking for constantly, which we are going to do, I believe we've had like full confirmation. Steam button will go live, maybe not till Monday. We need feedback, a response from Valve, and it's the weekend, and it's a Steam sale. So, don't spend all weekend stressing out about it. It's very unlikely to have like a particularly significant impact on how soon you get into playtest.
Yeah,
it'll take a week longer, but it's it's unlikely to be more than that. And I really would suggest wasting loads of time on that. The last thing that's going to come in is. And I think one of the major reasons people need configs is game mode specific configs, where you have to check every day. Sure, just don't do it like every 5 days. When you're configuring stuff, you very often want to have different stuff per game mode. Things like you see here on stream, like Rocket Jump, Sticky Jump, Conc. These make sense to keep as their own sections because they fit quite discreetly away from everything. But things like keybinds, it's very natural, right, to want different keybinds for different modes. And if you want to do that, currently you have to go in and make like CFG files, and tons of Momentum players are going to be used to that already. However, that's the kind of thing I feel like we really should have full in-game support for. So we will be having like a drop-down in the input settings here, where the actual main inspiration for it comes from Overwatch. What I've been pushing for, and I think will work really, really well. The way Overwatch lets you do hero selection, it's a really bad game, but I think it does that really, really well. So yeah, if you want to have like game specific, turn binds, stuff like that, that'll be added, and that and the speedo settings are probably gonna be the final like really crucial parts of settings. Anyway, that's my whole spiel.
I don't have much to say. You've spent the most time on this out of anyone here, and I mean it's such a nicer like overall experience, because it used to be tabs up here that wasn't taking the full space, and then search kind of like went there too, or like up, and now it's very clear: left category, middle the actual settings, right helpful text. And you probably saw it very quickly, but right here, advanced settings tooltips, you can actually turn. They're off by default. These show, like you could, the convar info. Or do these? That was okay. Run safeguards.
Safeguards will be changing a bit in the future, so those will. I don't think we bother with tooltips for those.
So this was suggested by somebody that was, I think, from Zonic.
I think it was Dr. Jaska. Jaska, sorry, suggested it as a design feature, which is a great feature.
Yeah, having convars.
I added it that day. I like the idea so much.
Yeah.
Those 4 don't have a convar because they're magic, and actually, Panorama, we added a thing where we can actually store stuff out to file, not as a Panorama specific file.
Yeah.
Colorblind options is a really good question, and I think something we talk about once or twice a year because we'd like to do better colorblind support. Oh yeah, crosshair stuff is now in.
Yep. Aim at my gamer friends.
I think with colorblind options, it's something where we could really do with people who are colorblind. I mean, ideally, several people with different forms of colorblindness, where we could probably do more to support that quite easily because it can be post-processed shaders. But we'd need feedback from people, and given the news about playtesting, that might in the future be quite a good time to people signing up for playtesting who are colorblind want to get in touch with us. If you don't want to talk about it in the public Discord, that's chill. But if you do, that'd be ideal, right? But
right.
But personally, I just feel like I'm really very much in favor of improving accessibility in games, and Momentum has quite a lot of things that make it just inherently inaccessible. But access is always about finding what there is in your capacity to do in terms of improving access, and then actually doing that.
I'll do this, Jump. I promise. I'm not this bad normally.
Yeah, colorblind option is something that you care about. That would actually be really, really genuinely useful to hear from you.
Yes.
Now that you've said that, you're gonna have to ask for proof that they're colorblind.
We're gonna send you a book if you can't see the color in it. No. We would love to actually genuinely. So, oh no. I didn't kind of strafe it.
I think a lot of stuff for colorblindness in games is there is quite a lot of information available for how to implement it in games.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is really quite easy to do because it can just be post-processing.
Yeah, and in fact, I think that's what Sources was. Isn't that what Sources was for a while? But it wasn't the greatest. And there's better implementations now, and we can implement those better implementations.
Yeah, that's exactly it, right? Is that we need good feedback from people. Like, we need someone to tell us if this colorblind implementation is half-assed. Like, if it is, then let us know and we can improve it. Because I feel like a lot of games, like Overwatch, actually used to do it. I think where they made quite a big effort and put quite a bit of PR for it, saying they'd added colorblind and stuff, and then a lot of people would just say, this is just not very good. But I think they did improve it in the end. But yeah, it's something where we just want input from people. And,
I remember, I think it may have been EA that released a big a bunch of information on accessibility stuff just for free for other people to use. That might be something to look into.
Yeah, and there's some open source shaders and code and stuff on GitHub, right? That has a different. I think the thing with colorblindness is that because you have several different forms of colorblindness, I think there's sort of the main 3. I'm not going to try and remember the names because they're long and I'll get wrong. But then sort of 3 other sort of slightly rarer forms and exactly sort of. I don't know.
There we go. Finally, out of the pit.
Sweet Pea asked if that would be the type of thing that goes into the chaos source code, and anything 100%. We do that's not momentum specific and can be used by other mods should be in chaos.
That's honestly one of the kind of.
It's important to collaborate. We shouldn't be hiding stuff from the other team.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Tyler, if you want to, give a shout in Discord about that stuff. Something where, honestly, if you prod us quite a bit about things like that, we'll maybe work on it more. That being said, I think if we don't have a GitHub issue for it, it's definitely high time we make one. Because it really is something very easy, not trivial to add, but potentially relatively easy to do. And I personally feel that any time when you can spend a bit of your time to improve access, like any developer should be doing that. Again, it's not a great game in terms of access for a lot of different reasons. But things like better color blindness options, vetting maps well for epilepsy concerns. Then again, I'm kind of wary of us being like super confident, saying like, oh yeah, this is fine for people with epilepsy, but at least making an active effort where we can.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, a lot of stuff right now is prioritized in terms of like 1.0, right? Like getting the actual core game, but accessibility is part of that. So yeah, absolutely.
It's also and it's loads of little things like, I don't know. Personally, I care about that a lot. So if someone's bugging me, then I'll bug other people on the team to do it a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, with epilepsy, for 100%, right? You can't just take some random person's word on the internet that like, okay, this is safe. And for us, like, because so many of our maps are from just community made, and we don't have people qualified on the team to judge. Even if we had someone qualified on the team, they wouldn't be able to judge like every single map themselves, right? It would just be there's always
Rip the ending of Jump Cake. Oh god.
But Battlefree are pretty good colorblind. Is Battlefree Battlefield EA thing? Because I think we were talking about EA.
Yeah. Dice and EA. Yeah.
But we should. Our colorblind stuff it's just because it's Plar, something like it shouldn't be hard to make a game that's good. I guess some big devs have tried and not done that well, but what would be really good is for us to get like an initial implementation in, and then especially given that we've now got playtest stuff, right, it will be easier for people to get keys. If you then sign up for playtest and you get in, and then give us feedback for any colorblind stuff, that would be really great. But then again, of course, colorblindness varies so much that we ideally need like, people with the I think 3 to 4 main forms of it. Is that right?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to support all of the major types of colorblindness. No, damn it. But I think this is where we'll wind down for the stream. If I can, I'm not gonna be able to beat this map. I got dinner and other stuff to do. So, like, check to see if Valve got back to us. Yeah. So I'm gonna. I guess I'll call it here. Was there anything else?
It's at the 3-hour mark. Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah. That's what I noticed too. We were hitting the 3-hour mark, so it's kind of how long we go for these things. So showing off some Conc, thankfully this time. That's Conc. Absolutely, you get playtest support, or you get playtest access. Definitely check it out. It's a very fun mode. Yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and is there anybody to raid specifically?
Jason.
Nobody streaming momentum but us. That's okay.
We might have some.
Any epic source mappers?
I was thinking of defraggers, maybe, but
I think everyone's gone to bed.
yeah.
Paxton surfing. We could raid Paxton.
Yeah.
Let's raid Paxton. Cool. All right. Oh, okay. Let's see. Cool. All right. Yeah. So definitely, if we didn't get to any of the questions that you had asked in chat here, ask us in our Discord. !Discord, because we actually got a bot that does it now. Definitely join our Discord, please. Especially if you're getting playtest access. There's no other real way to communicate stuff to us more effectively than Discord. So yeah, please consider joining our Discord. Follow this account. We're streaming Panorama progress and hopefully going to be doing more casual streams as well, like playing the game with you guys.
Only with big lobbies, yeah.
Yeah, big lobbies, yeah. That'll be a great time. So for sure, definitely join our Discord. Check it out. Go and enjoy Paxton. I believe he's still surfing. And yeah, cool.
We're gonna have to update the bot for the key command.
Oh, true that. Yeah, we have to remove that. But yeah, take care. And yeah, I will let you know when the button's up. That too. But
It'll be
yeah.
a ping.
All right.
Yep.
Take care, everyone. Sayonara. Bye-bye.
Take care.